Welcome everyone to the Red Pill Progressive. I'm your host, James Pirana Madonna. I'm with my co-host, the one and only Mike Hilton of San Francisco, California. Oh, wait a minute. Well, actually,
it's hard to tell.
Oh, yeah. I got to do this. Mike Hilton of San Francisco, California. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you doing?
Another week has flown by so fast.
Right. I was about to say, yeah, it's flown so quickly, right?
And not only another week, what am I saying? Another month. It's May 1st, right?
It's going to be at least until June in California. Don't know about New York. You may have agreed about extending the lockdown.
Yeah. What your governor's last name is Newsom?
Newsom, yeah. Newsom.
Governor Newsom. Well, don't forget, California is a very, very large and very densely populated state. So, you know,
it is a huge and vivacious state, California.
Well, he has to do it in a logical, scientific way. He has to consult with experts and doctors and everybody before he makes decisions about a state as populated as California. And you know what? That's what China did. That's what all the Asian countries did to put a stop to this virus. And God rest his soul. I found out the old man that lives below me contracted corona and he died. So they did a complete sterilization of the building. But me, I don't let anybody in my apartment, and I wear masks. I have disposable latex gloves, and I follow the protocol. I'm always sterilizing my hands. I follow the protocol.
Ain't no time to be trying to meet up right now. Ain't no time to be trying to hook up right now.
But I do believe that the states that are not heavily populated, there is a strong possibility that they can open up first and soon. I mean, like your Wyomings, your Idahos, your North and South Dakotas, Montana, and such.
South Dakota's never even implemented anything. Nebraska didn't. North Dakota didn't.
What about Kansas? Kansas?
I'm not sure about Kansas. I think Kansas was a partial closing at least.
And Arkansas, which is called Arkansas.
Arkansas has done jack about quarantining people.
And they don't believe in social distancing.
Apparently, some people just believe in prolonging this thing even further. Because even if your state is open and mine is closed, the longer yours is open for, the harder it's going to be for my state to reopen.
Yeah, the more that the ignorant, nincompoop, imbecile assholes continue to not follow the rules, the longer people like us are going to have very boring lives for a longer period, and we're going to be on lockdown. All the good, smart people will continue to be on lockdown because of all the assholes out there.
Defending the assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What topic do you want today, James?
Well, I got two red pill topics.
Oh,
first, I want to talk about.
I'll get a beer while you talk, so that it's on you.
7 lucky bells to keep away the evil spirits. I got the levity bell and the decorum bell, in case we have a guest that gets out of hand. You know, like when the judge has the gavel or something. Okay.
All right. Call to order.
Yes, right. Call to order. Now, I want to talk about free validation. Me and you were talking about that privately, and they're all the beta chimpanzee orbiters, the sycophants that kiss ass because they're desperate to get laid and get inside of a woman's panties. These people give free validation to women. And they give free validation for the reasons I just mentioned. Now, free validation could come in the form, well, it usually does, of an excessive amount of attention, an excessive amount of compliments. So you're going to inflate the woman's ego, higher than a kite. It's gonna go right skyrocket, and you're going to give the woman more power because she has more power. If you do date her, she will have more power in the relationship because you're constantly showering her with attention, with compliments, with almost, you might as well call it worship. So you're giving her all this power, and she's going to hold it over you. You meaning the beta chimpanzee orbiter, the so-called perfect gentleman, the chivalrous one that thinks he's making the right decision. She is going to hold this over on you and use this power against you. Now, really quick, even though it's not time yet, what kind of beer are you drinking?
Oh, well, we can review it later. So yeah, let's review it later, James.
Well, you can name it. You don't have to
name it though. It's a pale ale by Bear. I'll name it though. Pale ale by Bear Republic. Their Brewmaster Series, 5.2% ABV. If I could guess the IBU, maybe it's 40-50. It's a pretty good beer, and I'll give my take on it a little bit later.
Okay, Bear Republic. I love it when you bring, you're like Eric Fraunfelter. You bring a different craft beer every time you're on the show. I love it. I love when you do that.
That's very important. Thank you for just keeping things fresh. And I like that you still have some structure. So even if you may disagree with some people's structure sometimes, I like that you are very disciplined.
Well, I'm honest. I'm honest about everything I say. Like, for instance, I hate macros, except for some macros, like the Modelo line, the Genesee line. Some macros I could deal with, but in general, they give me heartburn. I think I have a reaction to the preservatives in the macros. I know some people buy them because they really can't afford to keep buying craft beer and they're on a budget. I can understand that, but you don't have to get stinking Budweiser, who the self-proclaimed king of beers. How dare they say that the king of beers, or Miller, Uh,
Craft beer can't even decide who the king of beer is. So there you go.
well, there's so many craft breweries in every state in the union. How can you decide who the king is?
No, no.
There's so many.
No.
There's so many. Anyway, getting back to the red pill, you give a woman all this free validation. You're handing her the noose to put around your neck, and you're handing her your your debit card, your wallet. You might as well say you're handing over your whole life to a woman that has the power over you, because why? You give her so much free validation. Now, and the more of a sycophant you are, the more you kiss ass, the more power you're going to give this woman. So now the second topic has to do with don't be the cleanup man when it comes to single mothers. Now, a lot of single mothers on dating apps, they're looking for some dude, usually an established dude that has a good job, and they're looking for him to rescue her from all her problems. They want to be rescued, like with the white knight is going to come riding on his horse and rescue her, and all of a sudden he's going to take on the responsibility of somebody else's rugrats, crumb crunchers, children. Those young children are not yours. My message to all the single men out there, regardless what age you happen to be, they're not yours. They're not your responsibility. If she can't take care of those children, she needs to get a good lawyer and go after the real father. Okay, it's not your job as a single man to get tied up with this single mother with young children, otherwise known as baggage. They call it baggage. It's not your responsibility to take care of another man's children. So avoid, like the plague, being the cleanup man with single mothers. If you want to have a fling with a single mother and she's hot looking, she's a pretty good looking MILF, go ahead, but don't give her the impression that you're going to take on the responsibility that is not really yours. It's not your responsibility to play the cleanup man.
Well,
Go ahead.
Well, yeah, would really like to go off of that because society has become such where they impose somebody else's mistakes onto a person. If somebody doesn't take responsibility for the children that they did not want in the first place, all of a sudden that has to be a guy's fault. A guy has to put up with other guys' failure to interact with women in a way that doesn't blow them up. Kind of like with Sarah Palin when she was the vice presidential running mate, and society just completely made a huge hoo-ha about her looks and her capabilities, and it drove her crazy toward the end. She couldn't handle, or maybe she could, but she just decided not to. Who knows? But she did not handle all that attention. You can only, man or woman, you can only go too far before you. This whole attention craving thing, it starts to become you, but you also start to unravel. And we have a pandemic of wanting attention. So even if somebody was obvious enigma says that means avoiding a large segment of women. Right, but there's a lot of beauty to not responding to every woman. You know, there are plenty of times when I won't even respond. And being non-responsive, it doesn't make you weird. It doesn't make you awkward. That's really the scene. Really wish that the pickup scene would be like the dating scene. If she doesn't work for you, move on. You have to be tough love. We have too many hangups in society to continue this attention-seeking, impulsive mode of interaction. That's my take on it. If that makes any sense.
Well, I think what obvious Enigma was getting at was the fact that there are so many women with today with baggage because the divorce rate is
Yep.
so high. The
Yep.
divorce rate is so high, and a large percentage of the population happens to have baggage. They have young children, unfortunately, because of the man-hating Me Too neoliberal feminist movement that have sabotaged straight, normal, old-fashioned heterosexual relationships. They are the
Completely
reason.
turned them upside down.
They're the reason why the divorce rate is so high. Because you can't be a selfish person who has a chip on his shoulder about men and blames men for everything and is jealous of men because they don't have certain, they might not have certain privileges that men have. You can't uh, allow that to sabotage the family, because when you sabotage heterosexual straight relationships, you are sabotaging the family unit. And
Isn't there a
it,
whole rule that sex comes first and all that fluffery shit comes after? Because if it doesn't happen first, that could cause a lot of pressure and misunderstanding and the friend zone. I don't know why people who may be more traditional, they blast somebody who may not be talking to women in a very complimentary manner. I don't compliment women unless it's from the heart or I'm returning a compliment. Okay.
well, the experts, returning a compliment is only polite. Now,
Sure.
when a woman is friendly and
Hello?
flirtatious, just because she's trying to be polite, we used to call that a cock teaser in the old days. That doesn't fly. I don't want anyone kissing my ass unless she means business. Now, the experts say to break the friend zone, you have to establish sexual tension, which
I don't
means
see anything wrong with that. What's wrong with that?
which
You just
means you
said
have
you're
to
more traditional.
which
Don't
means
get mad at me for trying to do that.
you have to flirt with the girl. You have to, you don't have to be a pervert. You could flirt with her. You can say things very subtly, but you have to establish your intentions with the woman right at the beginning. This way, she doesn't put you in the friend zone. Because if you
Yeah,
don't,
that or worse, she puts you in the friend zone, but then she says, "You know what? You can compliment me for the rest of your life, and I'll have you fix my gutters while I bang your best friend while you're not looking." Even though every time you look at him, you may criticize everything he does when it comes to how he speaks to women. It's very, as you said, it's very, very simple. It's not even about complimenting. It's not even about her, really. It's about you. It's about you. It starts with you. Are you going to blow people up into a big fuzzball that's ready to burst? Or when it comes to dealing with people in general, are you not going to go out of your way about everything? Especially the attention seeking and people's inability to, right now, for example, to be about themselves when they're in public because they're stir crazy. there's something really unappealing and unattractive about attention seeking. It's really, he who speaks first loses. Corey Wayne says, "He who speaks first loses." Um, I see nothing wrong with having a lady talk to you first, having a lady make the first move. Even if you make the first move, you're not focused on kissing her ass. You're focused on moving it along. It should be very, very simple. What you said about families, I find that maybe it's a lot of those people who like to orbit women. They end up leading lives where they are the faux dad, they are the fake father, and there's somebody else who they aren't aware of. And it's just very unfortunate. It's as if they will never alter their mindset. They will never change their behavior. You know?
Yeah. Well, this is what the neoliberal Me Too feminist movement has done. When they sabotage heterosexual relationships,
Did you just say neo-feminist?
Neoliberal feminist Me Too movement, right?
Neo-feminist.
No, well, neoliberal. They're militant. They could be militant feminists, the ones that hate men.
Yeah.
In other words, the lesbians. They want to sabotage heterosexual relationships, which sabotage the family unit. Now,
Or they say they like men, but really they don't. You can tell that they don't.
yeah. Now, you have to establish your intentions as soon as you meet a female, because if she doesn't get the indication that you want to date her for romantic reasons, right from day one, she will put you in the friend zone. And it's easier to enter the friend zone than it is to exit the friend zone.
Yeah, when it comes to AMOGs, for example, James, the alpha male of the group, the idea is that they are sensing that a guy is not doing well in a set. I might agree with that. Where I find that to be a little bit unrealistic, however, is it may be those guys who are insistent that you're supposed to keep doing the same thing to a woman over and over again until she finally says yes, even though you know where it's going to lead in the end. Even if you get that to the finish line, it's going to be. Just watch the movie Alfie. Watch the plot of the movie Alfie, not the old one.
Well, if a man is a sycophant, like let's say he's a car salesman by trade, or any salesman. These people are pushy. You know that.
Right.
They're pushy. They're obnoxious.
And that has no place in the game.
They keep on nagging you in hopes that you will say yes. Now, if a guy like this, and he might not even be good looking, he might be a salesperson that looks average or below average, and he just might be a pushy bastard, and he's nagging that poor woman, and just to get rid of him, sort of. She says yes, but she's really going to milk him for free food and cocktails. In other words, she's going to become a dinner and drink whore.
That should be free.
And because the guy is so pushy, he's bugging her so much that she finally gives in and says yes. Now, this guy obviously is the worst kind of beta orbiter. He's the worst kind of sycophant. He's kissing her ass big time because he's just a pushy bastard, because he doesn't have what it takes to be a high sexual market value alpha male. So he resorts to pestering. So he'll pester the woman until she says yes, and then she'll take advantage of him. And he might just get a peck on the cheek, good night, one of these deals. Sometimes you not even a peck. Sometimes if a woman really is not into you, she'll give you the cheek without the peck. Like,
Oh, right.
yeah,
Right.
that's a real insult.
I don't even want your lips to touch my face. Nevertheless,
Lips
the
don't
inner
touch
part
face.
of my face.
Now, women that give very insincere handshakes, like usually very glamorous, good-looking women that think their shit don't stink. They give you the tips of their fingers like a dead fish. Like they won't grasp your hand and squeeze.
Shake the hand, yeah.
And
I
they
know,
won't.
I know a lady. She would hug me, and if I awkwardly hugged her, she would correct my hug in the middle of the hug. And it was a lady from New Rochelle. My mom knew her. If I hugged her awkwardly, because I was pretty awkward back then. Don't know how I'm doing now, but I was pretty awkward back then.
Well,
She
you
would
weren't
correct
grind,
my hug.
but
What's that?
you weren't grinding your pelvic area into her, right?
No, no, nothing like that. She just told me that, hey, you're being what she communicated. She didn't say it outright. It's not like she said that, especially because I was awkward and nervous. But what she was communicating was, hey, it's okay to have more exertion. It's okay to have more expression. If you don't show other people enough love, how can you expect it back? Which is, and these guys, they will never understand that. You want love, you gotta, you gotta give and take. You gotta give and take, and if anything, it's not even about the taking. It's about the giving. And I don't care how many guys look at me weirdly because I didn't say a compliment. That's just my way of going about it, and it's very high risk, high reward, sure. But then at the end of the night, the results are usually pretty clear. Either nothing happened or something very well may happen. Even then, it may not happen. Guys got to be okay with the whole process. They got to be patient.
Well, yeah, they got to be smooth.
Complimenting is not patient, James. It is not patient. It's almost like, come here right now. And I'll never understand this. Everything's all expedited now, James.
Well, like my late great friend, the commercial voiceover specialist, William H. Morrow III. He used to go to a sports bar with his buddies, pick his favorite spot, a bar stool. Usually he liked the corner, facing the big screen TV. And he watched sports. He ordered beers on tap, craft beers on tap, and he talked to his buddies about hobbies, about sports, about the game. He'll be watching the game, and he won't even pay attention to the girls. And because he had that voice, that deep, that naturally deep, rich, hi, I'm Bill Morrow. Nice to meet you. Hi. Naturally, I got a video of him. God rest his soul. I'm gonna show it to you.
You
If
can
I
show me
remember.
that video, and I would love to see how everybody else looks at him, like as if he is a ghost or something, because he doesn't have this voice when he talks.
No, he has it's natural. You remember how Ted Baxter on the Mary Tyler Moore show used to do that? Hi, I'm Ted Baxter, and now it's time for the news.
I didn't
No,
see it. It sounds familiar.
no. Billy's voice was naturally that way. Billy's voice was naturally deep and rich, and
Huh.
the girls used to flock over to him. He was a chick magnet, but then again, he looked like George Reeves from Superman. He was tall. He was an NFL quarterback. He was a second string quarterback for the New York Jets, and he's a big guy. About 6'2", 230 pounds, and he had broad shoulders. He had a very strong chin. His jawline was very strong, and he had nice wavy hair, and he had a naturally deep voice. He says, James, do not chase women at all. Do not pursue them. Do not kiss their ass. You got to be smooth. That's what he says. You got to be smooth at all times. You just
Yeah, and it could always have its own issues too, because some people will see that, and people don't like the hustle because it tends to breed more results. You could just look at what's going on at somebody who's more experienced and learn.
yeah.
What's up, Eric?
There he is. The one, the only.
Behind these-
Massachusetts Beer Reviews, Thomas Metal 75. Eric is here in the house.
What's going on,
Eric had a
gentleman?
75-person
Yeah.
panel.
So anyway,
Eric had a 75-person panel last night.
what did he do?
He
Yeah.
had a 75-person app last night, which was pretty cool. But I have an
Really?
interesting quote.
Well, Jay had it. Jay was a busy man. Yesterday.
Yeah,
Thursday.
I heard there was a show.
Yeah, Jay's a bit now. What were we talking about?
Validating women. And
No,
culture.
not that. We were talking about Billy Morrow.
Billy Morrow.
You go out with your friends or along with your blazer, your nice looking sport jacket. You go out, you find the screen, you find whatever game is playing, you find the TV, you get some craft beer on tap, and you don't chase women, and they will bust a move if somebody really is interested in you. They
Sometimes
will.
may be the woman you noticed.
Yeah, you got to be smooth, like Eric. Eric is very smooth because.
Like Keystone Light, you got to be smooth.
Mhm.
Well, what I mean is, you stick to your hobby. You hone your hobby. You perfect your hobby, and you have focus. Like Mr. Miyagi said to Daniel-san, you must focus. And
So in my case, I strike up a giant conversation about the band Rush. That doesn't sound. No. How about beer? Okay.
yeah, well, show
Or Patriots, or in my case, maybe Red Sox. There you go.
Oh, that's.
I like the Red Sox, but
I'm
not playing right now. Baseball.
I'm a huge Red Sox fan, but this pandemic is going to really hurt.
It's fucking us over. Just a little bit.
Sports. It's really going to hurt. It's going to hurt everything. But
Yeah.
Mr. Michael Hilton, show Eric your interesting craft beer.
I will, but first I have a quote by Martin Luther. A man does not live for himself alone in this mortal body to work for it alone, but he lives also for all men on earth. Rather, he lives only for others and not for himself. To this end, he brings his body into subjection that he may more sincerely and freely serve others.
Well, an unselfish lifestyle is a humble lifestyle. It is what the Shaolin monks, how they live, and other monks of different, an all-round nice person, a pillar of society. And
I'm a selfish bastard, but anyway.
Well, even though that man yesterday from Ohio says I'm bringing evil spirits into the show, he's wrong. But
he's a nutty guy, that Ronald Sutton.
Oh, and he definitely is long-winded too. That's for sure. But show. Yeah, go ahead. About you were going to say something about Ronald Sutton.
No. You know what? I want to hear what the Martian's drinking. What are you drinking exactly there, Martian?
Where's the bottle?
Thank you, Earthlings.
Get the bottle, Martian.
Where's your bottle?
Hey, wait, hey guys. This is the Pale Ale by Bear Republic. It is their
Ooh.
brewmaster.
He showed me the bottle. He won't show.
Okay. I actually
About
went there
13%.
2 years ago. I was telling Michael that when I went to San Francisco. Yeah. To
Say,
that exact
One
brewery. It's
finger
pretty
in
good.
my head. Yeah, I'm jealous, Eric.
where's the
uh,
bottle?
It's in the recycling.
Guys, hold on. I'll get it.
I like the label. That's why I'm saying it.
Right.
I'll go for it.
Carbonation's good. Orange beer, high body, the aroma.
Where is it in an IPA?
It's a
Pale ale, right?
Oh, it's a pale
American
ale.
pale ale.
It's a pale ale, 5.2% ABV.
Perfect. I like that ABV.
It's getting kind of cashmere hops. I think I'm getting cashmere hops.
Okay.
That kind of,
Yeah.
that kind of shrubbery feel, that kind of shrubbery earthy feel to the hops.
I'm trying to imagine. I've had the Racer. The ones that come to my mind are the Racer 5 India
Right.
Pale Ale they make, and their Racer X, which is their double. And they
Right.
all seem to kind of have the same hopping. I'm trying to remember that in my brain. But continue with your review, good sir. I'm trying to remember that in my brain,
Thanks,
what it
guys.
smells like. Yeah. They're very similar in the malts, I remember, too.
Racer. It's hoppy. All right.
Yep.
Cheers.
Yeah, let's do it. Cheers.
Where is the bottle with the interesting label? I don't
He'll find it.
nag.
Hilton find it.
Oh,
I forget the name of the town that was in. It's in this cool town, the Bear Republic Brewing Company. It's actually a brew pub. So they do a ton of brewing, and it comes all the way out to our area as well, James. And it's everywhere.
Take a look at this cool ass motherfucking bottle.
It was a pretty brewery, and I love the town in Northern California. It was in. They were located. I had to go over the Bay Bridge we went towards Sonoma County, and
Bit of a drive.
it's very close to Santa Rosa. It's very, very close to Santa Rosa, I remember.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Anyways, continue, good sir.
Yeah.
Fruit at the front, bitterness at the back end, good lacing, good seaside feel. And I'm getting the cashmere hops because it's a bit of it. Cashmere hops, they have a lighter and yet still very distinct hoppiness about them, and they do tend to go into very drinkable beers. And what's so cool, I think that this is hints of yeast, hints of being unfiltered. It's very hey guys, thanks. It's very jelly-like. You're getting that bubblegum feel, so it's resiny, even at only 5%.
I can picture that. Yeah. Cool.
It's very thick and
I must have had that before.
It's very thick and bready on the mouth feel.
Yeah.
Good glazing on the glass. Trader Joe's chills the shit out of these motherfuckers prior to serving. They need to sell in other states. It's awesome. It's so hoppy, given the fact that it's pale ale. But I think that the feel of the cashmere hops, guys, is that it's just hoppy. Not as hoppy as an IPA though. So it's really quite perfect.
All right.
I must have had that before, maybe. I would imagine.
What, you visited?
What do you have tonight there?
Oh boy! All right. Here's the madman of the hour. I got the website out. I got the description out, so I can do a little bit on that. We are drinking, yes, James, Trillium Brewing Company, because I just went there. Was that yesterday? Today is Friday. Yeah, I went yesterday. Yeah. I was going to go to Treehouse. I might do that either on my birthday which is next week, or a couple weeks after that. My beer refrigerator is stocked with Trillium, so I can't really fit Treehouse. But I digress. This is Trillium. They do a Fort Point Pale Ale. Fort Point is a district in South Boston by the water, and by their Seaport district, they call it. And the original location, the first location of Trillium, is in that Fort Point district. So Fort Point Pale Ale, they do a bunch of different variants of it. This one's 6.6%, and it's their Mosaic dry hopped version, which is me go to the website real fast for you, gentlemen. Really, really, really fast. Malts are American two-row barley, C15, white wheat and dextrin malts, and it's Mosaic and Columbus hops. And this is just a variant on their Fort Point Pale Ale. So a little bit, okay, back on the channel. A little bit different than Michael's beer. I mean, it is on the New England side of things, as you would guess with the look of the beer, but it's a higher ABV than one would think of for a just pale ale, not even a IPA. They at Trillium tend to go around 7 to 7.2% for their IPAs, and most things lower than that in the hoppy offerings are considered pale ales. I have the rest of the can poured in the glass, and I'm not getting a bunch of chunky sediment or anything like that. It's a little bit lighter on the yellow side than what you're getting here, but it's not that dissimilar in the glass. And it has, if I try to agitate that a little bit, it does have a really good finger of some nice frothy, kind of creamy looking whitehead. Looks like your New England beers, like James P. Madonna loves the look of those. Those kind of look like this one, yeah. Yeah, this thing was canned 9 days ago, or at on the 24th of January, or 24th of April. My apologies. So it smells really green, bright, herbaceous in the hops. They're really fresh. I'm getting some white peppercorn. I'm definitely getting the bready malts, a white bready malt. A little bit of a toasty, kind of a biscuity malt. There you go, James.
There you go.
What else? The papaya, mango, grapefruits. A lot of pineapple in this one. Some lemony grassiness in the background.
It's the hazy.
But it has that yeasty, a little bit of that yeasty bubblegum, but it's got a lot of, like when the hops are really, really fresh, I tend to get a lot of spicy peppercorny notes too in the beer, mixed in with your juicy notes. So yeah, it doesn't smell like a booze bomb. No. So cheers to the both of you. Hope your health is getting a little bit better there, James. Cheers on the Mosaic Dry Hop 4 Point Pale Ale Trillium.
Yeah, knock on wood. I switched to Zyrtec from Allegra, and I did some reading on Google, and the pharmacist says, well, you're right. Zyrtec and Claritin D are both the best all-around antihistamines and sinus problems.
Yeah. The only one you really want to watch out for, I'm not really sure about Claritin D, but you really want to watch out for if you're going to go over the counter and buy some Sudafed, because that's like high strength, like over the counter drug, like recreational kind of drug. You're going to get that. You're going to get that little dopey, like, hello, how's it going feeling? My grandfather, bless his soul, he passed away last year. He loved him some Sudafed over the counter. Apparently, there's a reasoning why.
Like Benadryl, it'll knock you on your ass.
It'll make you feel right and dandy before it happens. But with the Trillium, quickly,
yeah,
Fort Point, Mosaic Dry Hop. So Mosaic hops, they always have, people classically say that the Mosaic hop has a berry, B-E-R-R-Y flavor. And the one berry that people usually say is blueberry. And yeah, there's a little bit of that. So you get the blueberry and the bread, sort of a blueberry pancake, but not like in your face with the blue berry, but you're getting that kind of a juice with pineapple, a little bit of that orange grapefruit, kind of a lemoniness with the, like I said, in the nose, you're getting the spicy kind of a white peppercorn with the toasty, bready malt, crisp, clean, very juicy, crisp, clean, ultra refreshing. It's on the very low side for 6.6%, but it's on the very low side of medium. perfectly crisp, very small, fine bubbles. It is fluffy with the white wheat malt that keeps it really fluffy and in your mind what you think of in texture for one of these sort of New England pale ales, bordering IPA if you ask me. And I don't really think, yeah, at first it's pretty upfront, grapefruit, citrusy, yeasty, bitter. And then when you swallow it and you finish the beer, it gets thinner. But up front, right now, like 4 or 5 days old, there's so much of that yeasty punch. You're getting assaulted with some of that peppery, yeasty flavor here. So if you can choke that one down and let it finish, it's pretty dry and clean and inoffensive. So Trillium, why must I bother? Awesome. Why must I bother with my assessment? Awesome fucking beer. You'll probably get another one from me later on, or I have a good red sour Belgian beer maybe to discuss later for dichotomy. Why not?
That sounds interesting.
It's good, yeah.
You know what? What I try to think about other subjects when a person is bragging profusely about a macro and they're going on and on and on about a common nationally advertised macro, and I'm looking at Eric's expression while the person is bragging about the macro, and I'm just trying to think about another subject. And it happens every now and then. Somebody goes on and on about their macro, and you know, hey, more power to them if they think that much of it. But I know that.
You talking about these kind of beers?
Oh wow!
Coors Extra Gold, Budweiser, Coors Banquet beer. The Trillium guy can go toe to toe with these kind of beers. Toe to toe, we can drink these kind of beers. We obviously are not. They're whatever style they are. They're the adjunct lager style. They're not going to compare, but we can appreciate regardless. But I honestly 120% know where James Madonna is going and tend to agree with the base assessment. Yes.
It's only me. I get heartburn from drinking those nationally advertised macros.
Yeah.
You know, I think adjuncts. It could be the adjuncts, could be the preservatives. Who knows? But you know, when you look at that hazy, cloudy fruit bomb of a New England craft beer, or some of the ones that Michael Hilton, you know, I mean,
this one.
You know, guys, Coors isn't that bad. It seems kind of like an ice beer. Coors seems like an ice beer.
Yeah, I just thought of it where, okay, so you can find a bunch of rock and roll on their radio station. They're pumping it out at maximum, but you got to really dig deep. Here's a great band from my area. Hope before the fall. You got to really dig deep to find the really hidden treasures in rock and roll, and it can be hard, but you got to look to find the good examples. You're going to get pumped out the same exact shit every time on the radio. There's your macro radio rock.
Macro radio.
Look for that craft one where everyone's doing it their way and they're making it on their own terms, and it sounds great because they have no overhead.
I heard Sirius satellite radio is free during the pandemic now.
What? I would look into that immediately if that's the case.
Online, they're offering it for free. The Sirius satellite radio.
I'm looking into that one. Michael was maybe trying to say something there. Yeah, Michael.
Oh no! But what I'll say is that I'll call macro beers Mac Bro beers because it's always the maybe not shitty because you know Coors Light. Coors Light seems like an ice beer, but you know people gather and they don't even think to. Out here in California, we gather. We're having Sierra Nevada beverages a lot of the time. I think that's just as beverage, or he says beverage.
That's cool. Why not?
Beverage.
Beverage.
beverage. But we're not drinking shit just because it's cheap. We'll drink what's good.
You people
And,
do that. Yes, agreed. I know that. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
isn't that whole saying you're not really saving money if it means a trip to the dirt, a trip to the vet?
Go. You know this one firsthand. In my experience my experience is both. My experience is mainly the beer because I went out to that area, but actually it turns out I know of a bunch of bands in that area that I speak of in the same sort of area that you live in, and I know from seeing some live Facebook you've done it. Go out to the Berkeley, California area. I mean, it's a little bit like the artsy, not ritzy, but it's the artsy-ish area. I mean, even the band Green Day and NoFX comes from that area. That's a little not like they're artsy people. They got a thing to say. But we got another buddy. Her name is Tanya Makowski. She lives somewhere in that area doing the YouTube stuff. But like that's a hotbed. We didn't get to do it when I went there. I wish we could have. But that's a hotbed for a lot of different beers and beer brands. I understand too, right, James? Or right, Michael Hilton?
Yeah, I can't fucking stand Berkeley. Especially disinviting people. Very
a little too left wing.
Very unapproachable. You would think that people on the left wing, for example, are good. That they are good people, but actually they're horrible freaking people a lot of the time.
Oh shit!
And Berkeley is
not into the music scene of Berkeley, huh?
What is snob?
Berkeley is getting coal in their stockings.
Are
they come across, in my mind, maybe I'm wrong, like the Hamptons or like the Greenwich area of New York, like hoity-toity, here's what we think, believe us, right?
Yeah, like Greenwich, Connecticut.
But they're very.
But Berkeley comes across to me like, and they've been that forever. That's where the band Green Day comes from. That's where the punky stuff from the '90s comes from. They're very younger oriented a lot of the time with what the voice comes out of from that area. And they're very opinionated about their politics and stuff like James would just go, what the fuck? And yeah, it's the Massachusetts of Northern California, and it's not San Francisco. Ooh, there you go.
I was listening to the mayor of Boston. The mayor of Boston is he's got his hands full up there. Not as bad as New York, but he seems like
oh yeah. What's his name? Wow, I just drank a little beer. Baker.
Yeah.
His name is Governor Charlie Baker. He's been pretty good. This has changed. This whole epidemic has changed everything. So I give him a lot of shit for things that he's got to do, but he's got to do them, unfortunately. So the one thing that he did, I think it was today in our state of Massachusetts, is everybody, now we have the mask mandate. We have to wear the mask everywhere you go. They only decided on May 1st.
Really?
How long? We've had this for 2.5 months. Only in May did they decide this. And if you quote unquote get caught without wearing a mask, it's a $300 fine in our great state. Apparently, our buddy Eclectic Beard from his channel, his name is Alan. He's pretty good. He's the one with the giant beard. He said in Texas, if you get caught without a beard, they have a mandate too, even though they're opening up their state. It's $500 or $550 in Texas.
Oh, that'll get the curve flattened.
Fuck that.
That reminds me of if your inspection sticker is expired in New Jersey, or well, that's a hefty fine. But
yeah, that happened to me once. However, the police officer was nice enough and gave me a warning, but it can happen to you.
Yeah, yes, it can happen, and not everybody gazes at their their inspection sticker every time they approach their car. It's a vehicle.
Yeah,
So
you should, but it doesn't happen all the time, right?
yeah, well, the date is right on it. I mean, it's obvious.
Yeah.
There's a big number on it, but
Yep.
I think that getting tough is the only way you're going to get people to comply, because there's a lot of Americans that still think this is a hoax.
Yeah.
They still
There
think
was nobody like that yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no. I don't. Yeah, I mean, wait a minute. Screw this. James was saying something. Let James finish. Yeah, go ahead, James.
there's a little too many people. No, there's a lot too many people. I know it's improper grammar in this country that still believe that this pandemic is a hoax.
Yeah.
And the hoax doesn't fill up boxcars with corpses. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yep. I do. I get. Yeah.
I know somebody. I knew this old man in my building that got it and died, and then there's what is there, close to 60,000
Scary.
in the United States already.
Yeah, that's just scary right there.
Yeah, so the whole idea of just acting like there's no pandemic at all is a one-way ticket to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And
yeah.
I know that a lot of the people that think it's a hoax are from the southern states, that maybe they're still fighting the Civil War. They don't want to listen to Washington because Washington is Yankee territory. Whatever reason they have, I noticed that they are predominantly from the deep South.
They are not dumb. They are not Democrats anymore. Democrats anymore. Good.
Oh, whoa. Yeah, it used to be a different thing up until maybe about even the World War I time period, where what you thought of politically of a Democratic Party person, or what you thought of the ideology of the Democratic Party, and what you thought of the ideology of the Republican Party, it was totally switched in the opposite up until literally, like I said, literally until 2000 World War I, where occasionally there were things that we dealt with, and World War II was about the last one. Tell me if I'm wrong, if you think so, James, where World War II was like really the last war that we in the world had to deal with, that still was encompassing and having to deal with imperialism. I know Jay's got his own opinions, but the brass tacks terminology of what you think of as imperialism, it was the last time we heard of it on a global scale. Yeah, sure, we got Guam and we had the Philippines at one point, and then Hawaii was a state, America, Samoa. Sure, we're an imperialistic state still. Okay, Jay Terrio. Yes, maybe. I don't hate that guy, but still, okay, maybe. But that's the last time you thought of world wars in an imperialistic sort of a mindset.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
So yeah.
Aren't we
I mean,
imperial today?
I forget where I was going with that, but yeah. I mean, when we got into World War II, it was what? The French, the British the British needed us so bad that they said that they agreed with what the terms that we gave them. I forget exactly what it was, but the terms in a nutshell were: you disband, because of the Battle of Britain, you disband your empire, and we will give you the necessary armory you need for this war. And they said they had no choice but to say sure, and they did it. And that's when the classic definition, not the grand scheme in the picture, Jay Terrio, but the grand scheme of the British Empire ceased that day. Not to say that we still all, as countries around the world, can't acquire territories and claim them as our own, but to the grand scale, I don't know if you're ever going to see that again. I just don't know.
The British, do they still have the Falkland Islands off of?
I think so. I believe so.
Falklands, but they pretty much lost their empire. Vladimir Lenin, that was around World War One, right? Before.
Lenin was World War One. Yeah.
Yeah, the Romanovs, the Imperial Romanovs.
Yeah, it's such. I mean, I would be really interested. I've watched a lot of people on YouTube. There's one dude in particular. I wish I remember the name of his show. Something bald beard guy. Something bald beard guy. He's from about the Brighton area of England, but he knows fluent Russian, and he tours the whole former Soviet Union, and he goes into Russia on his channel on trips and vacations, and he finds it all kinds of fascinating, and it is really absolutely fascinating to watch. But seeing how deplorable the conditions are in a lot of the Baltic states and even in the country of Russia, I'm not trying to say like I would have agreed more or less with the communist regime of the former Soviet Union, but I can imagine what it was like in a nutshell, because a lot of the people that he gets to interview that are older generation always talk about, I wish it was the Soviet Union again, because stuff was working and things were happening in that part of the world, and they weren't in shambles and in a deplorable condition like it seems like they are these days. I can understand why, in a nutshell, they liked how it worked. I don't know if the government did the best things for citizens, but at least the government was doing things in the country, in that part of the world, in Western or Eastern Europe, was thriving a little bit more.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I know a man for many years named Alex. He's from Odessa, Ukraine.
Cool.
He was the Soviet Special Forces. He was a Spetsnaz.
Yeah.
He was Soviet Special Forces. He told me in his Russian accent, he looks like Ivan Drago in the movie.
Nice.
He's a big guy, blonde hair. And he says, James, let me tell you something. When I lived in Ukraine under Leonid Brezhnev, I had no stress in my life, no stress. I had so much leisure time to do
I believe it.
Today,
I believe that.
To party, he says he was happy. He was happy. Everything was provided for him. The health.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
The healthcare, everything.
You don't have to worry about a bunch of stuff now. Like personal freedoms and things, yeah, that was probably a little bit more fucked than anything else. And yeah, but like your well-being and I mean, at least as far as you go to Russia, you go around in that country and you look at the state of things, it's night and day. Like, what the fuck happened post?
Yeah,
I forget when Chernobyl happened. Like, oh, not even. I mean, maybe like post 1991. It was a whole different place than 91 or 92 and to now. There's so many different. It looks like so many wars happened, but they didn't. You can blame some of that on Chernobyl. You can, even in Ukraine and in Belarus, you can blame a lot of Chernobyl fucking disaster on the way that the country is today. But I mean, a lot of it is just looks like it's a battered war zone. So many of those countries, again, even Russia, and so many of their towns and villages, this was like ghost towns. It was like bombed villages and bombed towns. Like, where did everybody go? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Ghost towns everywhere in Eastern Europe.
Yeah, well, the the quality of the basic needs of life were pretty much met, but like you said, you know, there's no freedom of speech, so on and so
They
forth.
spent it on the space program at one point.
Right, right. The Cold War was still taking place. The space race was happening, but in the early 1960s, there was a politician in Alabama named George Wallace, and he was a Democrat. And in those days, they called them Dixiecrats, because why? Because the civil rights movement was taking place.
Fake Democrats.
And as soon as the civil rights movement was won by the Martin Luther King people, the civil rights leaders,
Yeah.
they switched parties. The Dixiecrats became Republicans. So these Southern Democrats that were still fighting the Civil War and they were racist, they switched, okay, and became Republicans. It sounds a little familiar to me. No comment. But anyway, um,
Bill Maher asked, "What's it going to take to flip those people back to us?"
Flip them? Yeah, good luck.
Recover them. Recover those voters.
Recover them. America.
They're gone, motherfuckers.
I think they're gone. I don't know, man. You pay them off in very large sums of booty.
I don't believe that.
Give them free housing.
No, loot. LOOT, loot. When I said booty, I meant like pirate booty from a treasure chest.
That's someone's fucking ass.
Things like free housing, even though that's probably.
I'm going back to beer for a second, talking about Europe. Good segue. I don't know if I'm reading this right. My beer says my beer's got this little thing here.
Oh, look at that.
In the black box that says production date. The date of production.
Oh wow.
I don't know if the 9.6 at the end of that means 1996. The 5.8 can't mean 2058. I don't know what that means. Maybe the 1.4. Maybe this 1.4 over here is 2014. I actually wouldn't be surprised with the kind of beer that I'm drinking. I'll show that to you real fast. I think I've had brand of beer from these people before. I don't recall this one 100%. It's crafted and brewed in Roeselare, Belgium. It is aged in oak foeders, and it's a cool Belgian style. If anyone's ever had it, it's called a Flanders Red Ale. It's the Rodenbach Grand Cru. So the Flanders Red Ale is kind of like and this one is 6% alcohol by volume. The Flanders Red Ale is kind of like a soured version of a American or a British style brown ale. Is they're using the Belgian yeast strain, and it's giving you that funky tart barnyard kind of a flavor to it. So I'm using the same glass. It's more of a tulip kind of a glass. But look how dark the beer is, and look where the head is on that particular beer. It's a mahogany red color. I can't really represent the mahogany red, but you can see a little bit of red tinges towards the bottom of glass that way. And some tan mocha looking head. And whew, oh yeah, buddy. If you like that vinegary, if you like an apple cider vinegar smell, you would love this one. It's got such a tart, funky, musky aroma. Very musky, like cellar, wet earth smell. Lots of dark soaked cherries, lots of dark fruits, even raisins and plums and figs.
Wow. Very exotic.
Yeah, it smells kind of like it's very minerally, the water content in this beer. I've noticed that in a lot of these kind of souring Belgian beers. Sometimes you get that mineral composition, like you're sucking on a copper penny, almost that kind of mineral, well water kind of composition.
Looks appetizing.
The complex smell, but yeah, I'm going to take a little drink and then we'll talk to Damien Owens. Damien,
that is a very exotic beer from Belgium. I really like
Bodenbach Grand Cru.
I like your description of it. I love the way what you said about the black cherry.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the lit. I bought it. I've had some of this brand, and I knew I was gonna love it. So yeah, think of a brown ale, at least in the sense of it's more of like a toastier, kind of a darker malt essence, but you're getting that huge, maybe it's like a green apple. Yeah, like a green apple sort of cider vinegar kick and punch to it. You're getting some molasses sort of flavors. I actually would say it's semi-dry before it finishes pretty dry from that vinegar kind of a kick, which comes from the Belgian style yeast. Dark soaked cherries, figs, raisins, very tart, very puckering, very vinegary. If you like that stuff, you're definitely getting the toasty brown bread with the molasses a little bit. It's not too sugary sweet, but it's really tart and in your face, and you definitely are getting, I'm trying to think of a style, not like a Goza from Germany, but you're getting more of what you would traditionally think of sour puckering beers, but with a darker malt complexion out of them. To me, this does taste like 6%, but I'm not feeling like it's a giant body. And if you like that kind of a style of beer, this one I do prefer over the lighter bodies, but over the more pale malty bodies. This one doesn't drink with too much effort at all. So I see the Rodenbach brand all the time, and it's like between $5 and maybe $7 and change, maybe in the 5 to 6 and change range. Not bad for what it is. And the guy Michael Jackson, that was a famous beer author and wrote a bunch of books about beer before he passed away, always thought about the Rodenbach beers as being one of the crown jewels of Belgium. So fucking yeah, cheers. Dark sour beer.
Cheers to you, Eric.
Sour beer. What was that, Michael Hilton?
Oh, I was just saying cheers to all of you. And I also got something. I got, take a look at what I got.
Arugula pizza? What? Arugula, yeah.
Arugula pizza
wow.
from Trader Giotto's. It's a very non-oily pizza. I'm your no-nonsense, non-oily pizza guy. And this is
nice, Michael.
This is awesome. Arugula pizza has arugula. It has cherry tomato.
I hope so.
That does sound good. I would eat the shit out of it. I gotta look for that.
Are you heating one up now?
I'm still on it. I might show it later. I can't eat anymore. I'm just this is only 15 ounces, but it fuck up. From Trader Giotto's, 99 out of 100.
99 out of 100. All right, Damien the Wolf Owens. How was your day?
Today was excellent. I just woke up from a nap, so I'm still trying to get my bearings straight.
Okay. All right. The bearings straight.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my bearings straight.
Well, they'll.
Nice beer.
All right.
Malt liquor, ice beer.
You wake up. You
13 spared.
Malt liquor, ice beer. What you gonna drink next?
Nothing. I just woke up.
Okay, you need a coffee stout immediately.
well, he's an expert at malt liquor. I know that. He knows a lot about it. Well,
yeah.
Yeah, you can try the Stockton.
what's his name?
Oh, I didn't read this. Holy crap, I didn't read this.
Wait a minute.
Rodenbach Grand Cru is an exceptional Flemish red-brown ale that owes its fresh and sour taste and complex fruitiness to its lengthy partial maturation in wooden oak casks. Okay. Good, great, grand. What else can I tell you really fast before I shut the hell up?
You
It's
said,
a archetypal Flanders red-brown ale. Each of these beers is a unique blend. They all share a brewing process characteristic of the area surrounding Roselaire and Corrich. All right. So they use a two-stage fermentation process called mixed fermentation, which is involving top fermentation and bacterial fermentation using lactic acid bacteria. The Rodenbach Grand Cru matures in oak folders or barrels over a period of 2 years, giving the beer a unique, complex fruitiness that is reminiscent of wine. I did not mention that, but there's a ton of red wine. Maybe like a Cabernet, maybe more like that, or like a Cabernet Sauvignon. And they say these can be traced back. This style of the Flanders beer, the wood brawn or red brown ales can be of Flanders, can be traced back to the Middle Ages. At that time, hops, the modern preservative ingredient in beer, had yet to reach Belgium, but brewers knew that beers containing lactic and acidic
acidic.
acids kept for longer. This gave rise to the tradition of sour beers made by cutting a young and a newly fermented beer with an older beer that has finished fermenting. The bitterness of hops is barely discernible in this style of beer. So, kind of cool stuff. Yeah, Belgium being good for the beers. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for that price, it better be super exotic. I mean, and it is.
Yeah.
And it is. It is. It's probably one of the
I
most.
feel like this is your kind of beer when you're able to try something brand spanking new and different to your palate. I think you probably would like it.
Yeah, well,
That's the kind of guy you are. You do like new and adventurous things. And this, I don't know if sours are out of your wheelhouse, but this is so far out of what you might think of beer as that it might just intrigue you enough.
well, I've had sour cherry. I've had, black cherry, Bing cherry. I've had all kinds of cherries, white cherries. So sour cherry is supposed to have medicinal value.
Yeah. It's definitely wood. It's definitely woody. WOODY. It's definitely got a woody complexion overall. Yeah.
Oh.
Did I rate this? I don't know. This is a 96 for what it is. For that style, you almost can't do any better. For that Flanders red ale, you almost can't do any better. And quite honestly, that's the benchmark for that obscure style to the United States. So,
Right. Well, and then of course Michael Hilton had a very nice pale ale from a local
that sounds
brewery.
good.
Oh yeah, it's very fresh. It's very tangy. It's very earthy, floral. It's everything you're looking for in a beer that's light. Because I think sometimes we're just looking for light beer, but not beer that's too light. It's still quite heavy in the hop presence, so it's very hop forward. Bear Republic does that a lot.
Yeah.
They're not bad at all.
Yeah.
Bear Republic is a very hop forward brewery. Can't imagine one of their beers not having any bitterness.
I think. I think they were in the town of Healdsburg, California.
That's right.
Yeah, we did
That's
stay.
right.
We did stay at a hotel over there when we were in Sonoma County, and that's where I first tried a bottle of Mickey's malt liquor. I went online. I'm like, where is Mickey's? And apparently, literally across the street from my hotel was a convenience store. So I bought a 40 of Mickey's and a bag of Munchos. 'Cause why not? And Tyler Mansell and I went on a beer review, and we reviewed Mickey's. I'm like, damn, it was pretty good for what it is. But yeah, cheers to Healdsburg.
Well,
So you were about to say that Mickey's is right next to Bear Republic for a second.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That would have been legit.
well, we did
If only we knew, the two of us.
4 reviews. We knocked off 4 reviews on the show, which is pretty good. I think so. 4 individual reviews. All right, Obvious Enigma. Let's see what Obvious Enigma has to say. Let's talk about vinyl next, and then deny Hesperdum, ironically.
What?
What? Dave,
Explain yourself, Obvious Enigma. You're not obvious in what you say.
Hesperdum, Hisperdum. Let's talk about vinyl. I don't like vinyl. I like real leather, but I don't know if that's what you mean by vinyl. And deny Hisperdum. Explain what Hisperdum is, please.
I always thought you pronounced it as Vanille.
Vanille?
Yeah.
You mean like vanille parmesan?
Potato.
Yeah, scallop. You know, scallop potatoes have no scallops in it. They have cheese in it. My sister made it, but the word scallop is an English word that means thinly sliced. But then again, they call it seafood scallop. So you figure that one out.
Let's see.
All right,
Urban Dictionary. Okay.
It was a
all
type.
right, great.
Deny.
All right.
Oh,
All right. We'll go on the Urban Dictionary because they seem to have the terminologies we need to know.
Hipsterdom.
Hisperitum refers to the
typo.
Hierarchy within the subculture of hipsters.
He said it was a typo. It's hipster.
Was it really? It's an actual definition on Urban Dictionary, guy.
Yeah, vinyl records. Wow, he's an expert in music. This man over here, Eric. Vinyl records. Is it true that the sound quality is still superior on vinyl records than it is?
No, it's not true. It's not true. I think it's probably false. I think it's probably false in general. However, it's like with any piece of musical equipment you're ever going to use, whether you're a musician yourself or you work in the audio industry, it depends on what your ears tend to gravitate towards. Do you like the sound of musical equipment that comes out now, or do you like the sound of the vinyl and more of that warmer, organic, analog sound? Now, even if you go, which most people do this day and age, my brother's got I do an engineering degree, and he doesn't work with reel-to-reel tapes. And if you work with reel-to-reel tapes in 2020 and you're making money, God bless you, but that shit's expensive as fuck. But it's got a different natural organic sound to it than producing with a Windows computer or a Apple computer, but you can still get the similar pieces of gear of hardware to and what do you call them, actual pieces of musical recording software, and I'm losing my train of thought. With the actual hardware, and you can plug it in and use it in your own computer with a digital format. That'll make it sound very organic and similar to the old style format, but the old style format will never sound like it does unless you use it that way. So I guess in a nutshell, do you embrace the new school or are you old school only? And if you're old school only, I'd love to hear 100% why, because there's a lot of things that old school did right. I'll agree with that. But some things new school can trump the old school in its own fashion and way. That took way too long. I apologize. I'm 50-50 when it comes to that. New school is easy to use. Old school takes a little bit more time and money and effort.
Yeah, well, he says he's got crates. He's got crates of them. He says it sounds warm, not necessarily superior.
I agree with that 100%. 100% do I agree with that? Yes, I agree with that. Yep.
Okay. So that's what you know. Now, hipsterdom is a hippie way of thinking. You know, a lot of them were the baby boomers. They became right wingers, from what I understand. A lot of the hippies, the flower children, the Woodstock people, they became when they started to become financially independent. They turned right wing. What hypocrites they were, the hippies, the hypocrites. Hypocrites. I embraced the school of Bard Knocks. It's a neo-ancient academy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, trial and error and life experience will teach you many things too. But that beer is freaking exotic as hell. The one that Eric.
Oh, really? I guess.
I mean, with the
I always know I can go to the Belgian beer section of the local store and find something like this. Yeah. I just haven't recently, but I said, why the hell not?
Sour cherries.
It looks like kind of Guinness on steroids. Who's on steroids? It kind of acts like Guinness on steroids. It kind of looks like Guinness on steroids.
No. It's way more. No, it's definitely nothing like Guinness. It's definitely way sweeter and way more tart and vinegary than a Guinness ever would be. But I guess.
Oh, you don't
I couldn't even tell you. Like maybe there's a beer from Philadelphia. I'm missing the name of the beer entirely. I apologize, but Monk's. Oh, I remember Monk's Cafe. Monk's Cafe is kind of like drinking Samuel Adams Boston Lager, where so you're first getting into craft beer. You don't know really where to go. And all you drank was the macro stuff. Yeah, try a Sam Adams Boston Lager. Same thing with the sour beers. Definitely drink a Monk's Cafe if you've never had a sour beer. Very light version of a sour beer, but it'll get your palate sort of used to that whole thing that sour beers do. So I would encourage everybody to try the Monk's Cafe. And obvious Enigma's got a thing to say.
Actually, that's quite accurate, obvious Enigma. They were, and the same thing happened in the 70s. Mm-hmm. There were many whites that went out and got a perm. They went to the salon to get a perm, to get an afro, like during the disco era. And they not me though, no way. But they tried to act black. They right. This guy is absolutely right. Elvis Presley was raised in Tennessee with in a black community. He went to their church.
Well, he sang in Baptist churches.
Gospel. He sang gospel music in
the gospel.
In a black Baptist church, and that was the beginning of rock and roll, even going
I
back
believe it was. Yeah.
to the
That
drums, my African drum that I have sitting over there.
The
That's
Shanbei,
the beginnings of rock and roll.
Shanbei drum.
Now you're making me think of Johnny Weissmuller in the old Tarzan movies. Remember,
Oh,
he used to say,
there's Tarzan.
"You Tarzan, you Jane, that's Cheetah." You know, he was an Olympic swimming champion. A lot of the Tarzans were and Buster Crab, who didn't have crab lice, by the way. He was Flash Gordon. Buster Crab was
Crab from Maryland tastes delicious with butter.
now you get me hungry. Oh, crab cakes and crab puffs from.
I've had soft shell crab a couple of times in my life. One time in that part of Rhode Island you talk about all the time, but in Jamestown, Rhode Island, it's called Jamestown fish. I don't even know if it's around anymore. They take the soft shell crab, I think it's a blue crab, maybe.
Yeah.
They literally butter. I don't forget how they do it. They do like the egg and like a flour sort of a bath to it, and then they just put it in a pan with oil, and they cook it on one side. They cook it on one side and basically fry it. They flip it over on the other side, and you cook it and fry it, and you eat the whole thing.
The whole thing, but
it's like a briny kettle cooked potato chip.
But you have to
the
clean,
shell, but
you have to pull the lungs out.
Yum.
You have to take the gut, the inner, the guts, and the lungs. You have to pull the lungs out.
Yeah, Michael, you do. Yeah, Michael should know about that being in the San Francisco area. I actually did go to a place I don't even remember the name of it. 2 years ago when we went there, we went to a place I found on Yelp. After we went to Alcatraz, we went to this sort of higher end kind of restaurant. They did the whole crab that I ate in like some kind of linguine Alfredo sauce. It was, I don't know what it was. It was good. I think I had a Lagunitas IPA with it. Yeah.
In the Pacific,
I was overlooking Alcatraz while I was eating this thing. I was like, damn.
In the Pacific Northwest, they eat Dungeness crab and
that's what it was. Dungeness, yeah.
And Jonah crabs. Jonah. Those two.
It was definitely Dungeness where I was in San Fran, off the coast of Alcatraz.
Now, have you ever heard of this beer that Obvious Enigma is mentioning? Brown sugar.
I've had brown sugar from Lagunitas. That must be what he's talking about.
It was listed at 9, but it might have been.
He must be talking about brown sugar from Lagunitas there, Michael Hilton. I've had that before. It's almost like a barley wine in a sense. Pretty good stuff, though.
Any beer that's
he said it's the worst beer he ever had. Oh, what? I thought that was pretty good. I don't know. Do you remember brown sugar, Michael?
I remember that beer. I like the Lucky 13. So you know the Lucky 13 by Lagunitas?
Yeah, I've had that once. Not bad.
That's a good red ale.
Yeah.
Well,
Lagunitas is so good at a cheap price point for what it is. Like a 6-pack for $10.
Very affordable.
And it's that good? Yeah.
That beer is genius.
Yeah, James is off of the alcohol for the couple of weeks here, where we hope for the best health-wise, but we got to get back to reviewing.
Yeah,
well, more alcohol, that fucking sucks.
Well, yeah, that's the one. He lived near Bonitas in Petaluma, California.
I also went to that brewery 2 years ago. That was the last place I went 2 years ago. That place, Lagunitas, was awesome. 2 thumbs up. But anyways, there you go.
Nice, Captain Enigma.
Yeah, it was a really nice laid out place.
Now, these gentlemen, they Thomas Meadow 75 is part of a show called Wild Card Wednesday, which starts at 6 p.m. Central Time. And
6:30 Central. Yeah.
Yeah, all right, 6:30 Central.
Yeah. Let's go with that. Yeah. The other
Yeah.
one I do is I don't know if you ever been on the channel. I don't think you would mind if you did when you're able to come back around with the beers again. Is our buddy Bumpy Road Brewery. He's in the New Hampshire state. He does every Monday. He calls it multi Malty multi Monday, and he is doing his show based around the judging certification program guidelines. So we all get to drink a beer, and then at the end of the show, when we go off air, we put up a poll on somebody's channel that's got more than 1,000 subscribers. We link it to everybody, and we say, here are the four beer categories from the judging certification program guidelines. What do you want us to review? And whatever wins right after Wildcard Wednesday, Bumpy comes on his channel and tells us what we're going to drink. And so the category wins. Say it's, I don't know, say what one was American IPA. All right. So then he can go and say, okay, so American IPA is the category. I choose West Coast IPA as the beer style. So he goes that far. He picks exactly the style that we're going to drink. So kind of cool. Just like Jay used to do with his styles every week, but he's doing it that way. And Bumpy is reading you the style definitions and terminology. We have a guy that comes on from the United States. He now lives in Germany, and he gives us history. You might like that every now and then. But yeah, that's Mondays, New York time, 8:00 p.m.
Oh, on Multi Monday, this guy comes on because history.
Yes, sir. Yep, from New Hampshire. Really good stuff.
Wow. Yeah, he's a nice guy. I like the guy, the Bumpy.
He brews beer, so he's very knowledgeable about styles, and he can speak flavors pretty well.
I should make a show.
He's not pretentious about any of it, so it makes it really easy to converse and be an ass. You can be an asshole with him. You can't be really an asshole with Jay, but Bumpy Road Brewery, you can be an asshole with that guy, and you'll be fitting in just fine.
Well, he's not a beer snob. He's very humble. All right.
Yeah, he likes beer, but he's not a snob about beer.
I should just make a show drinking several Dickies, 40 ounce, and yelling at strangers online. Oh wait, I've already done that. Ha ha ha. Hey, there's plenty of people that troll and do all kinds of stuff. All right, let's see.
We haven't heard from that beer.
It is Electrotropical. Electrotropical. By Sierra Nevada, and it is 6% ABV. It is a can. It's not even a bottle. 350.
Are we drinking Sierra Nevada? All
right. Yeah, using an oh so chilled snifter glass. Going to pour it now. It's quite carbonated. It's quite heavily carbonated to the point where, yeah, but it may have been force conditioned. Who knows? It's pouring out the way it should. No weird colors. Some IPAs do weird ass colors that aren't really congruent with what they're trying to sell. So they may say it's a WEPA or WEPA, I don't know, but it looks more Nor'easter, like a Nor'easter beer, which is very, very misleading. Here it is, guys. 2-finger whitehead. Yeah, hints of sediment. I don't know if those have anything to do with each other, but hints of sediment. You can see that light at this. You can see that light on this side.
Looks great.
It's an orange beer. Oh, that's good. It's good that you guys seem to like the appearance. Cause I know I do. No IBUs, guys. No IBUs on this beer. Good glazing on the glass, but even no IBUs doesn't mean there's not bitterness. So Let's get the aroma on this high body beer. Oh shit! Somebody mentioned earlier to me fruit forward beers. I think it may be a fruit forward beer, but this one is sitting with me just fine. It's very much like a milkshake, even without the haziness. It's so fucking fruity. You're getting some kind of special guava sense. I'm getting a lot of guava for some reason. For some reason, I'm getting a lot of guava on this beer. Have not reviewed this beer before. Um, I'm getting guava, apricots, some mangoes, maybe even. Trader Joe's is awesome. You can just select individual beers. If you want to get a beer from a 6-pack, you just got to let them know. Mike, tell them if you're getting a beer out of a 6-pack. But still, anyway, it's so awesome. They need to sell beers in other states besides California.
That sounds good. Fucking A.
Yeah, that
Let's
looks
get into it.
nice.
Let's get into it. Cheers. Wait, sorry, James. Go ahead while I
now
drink.
you said that was an IPA flavor with cinnamon?
No, not cinnamon. It's very jelly-like. So yeah, there is a presto fruit at the front, bitterness at the back end, good lacing, good seaside feel. Yes, there's bitterness. Mr. Enigma says chili beer is my favorite. Can't find it where I now live. Yeah. It'd be nice to have a hot pepper beer. That'd be really nice. I think.
Yeah,
Electropical beer.
doesn't Soul put one out?
With
chili
there is a
pepper
bit
in
of
it?
an apricot rush to the beer. It's very, very drinkable. It's very, very drinkable. Yeasty and piney, earthy, floral. You're getting a jelly mouthfeel, so it's just a shit ton of apricot.
So you get more apricot than anything else, Michael?
Also getting clementine, primarily apricot.
Oh, clementine and
Hmm.
tangerine. Oh yeah.
I'm getting some other tropical notes on here. Yeah. I'm getting, it's a juicy IPA. I'm getting clementine even. I'm getting some nectarine maybe. It's so relative, right? Because you first get the beer, so it's really difficult sometimes to try to guess these flavors. They don't really have a description on the can.
No.
I guess they're just assuming that you know all there is to know about the beer, but
Oh, like the Amazing Kreskin, you gotta just use. They want you to go to the website and find out, maybe.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I guess so. What's so awesome about this beer is I really like how they're hopifying it. So when it comes to hops, I think I'm getting Citra. So if I'm getting clementine and nectarine, things like that, that's not so much grapefruit. So I wouldn't say Cascade hops necessarily, no, because those hops will generate a lot of bitterness.
Right.
Let's say there's more, not Citra hop either, not that. I'd say maybe even, especially given the name of the beer, maybe some experimental hops going on in this beer. Could be a very experimental beer. It works. It works.
It worked.
Very jelly. Very jelly. It's a little bit boring. A little bit one
No.
note, but still good. But still good.
Very
It's
good.
all right.
Very good, Michael. All right, now Eric has
Oh boy.
something
So
interesting.
I'm gonna go Sierra Nevada, but New Hampshire, California reminded me. I got these two beers. I forget when it was. Was it December or January? Maybe January. From a buddy in the state of Virginia. He is doing some distribution in his job with Anheuser-Busch, and I forget why, but somehow these beers were lying around, and he put it on Facebook and said, "Does anybody want this stuff?" And I went, "Hello,
Nice.
me. I'll pay for the shipping if you just want to give it to me for free." And he went, "Done." He found a giant box. He put these 2 beers in there. These are Magnum bottles of beer, for God's sakes. It cost me $28 for shipping. I PayPal them, and the beers, I believe, are well worth more than $28 collectively. So I went on that, but I gotta find people. Holy crap! That want to drink beer with me at some point. Look at that! Damn.
What is that
These
now?
are one. What are these? These are 1 pint.
look Belgian.
Oh, no. Sorry, they're 1 quart, 1 pint, 2.7 fluid ounces. I think that's around the Magnum bottle of wine. A deal. So they're both from the. Can you see that? Yes, Stone Brewery. These are their groundbreaking collaborations, and they're done at their. They have a. I was going to say Belgium, Berlin, Germany brewery that they own as well. So both of these are Germany. This one here is called the Stone Bode Brown, and basically it's a imperial red brewed with cacao nibs and amborana wood, and this whole bottle is 10.2% alcohol by volume. Damn.
Wow.
Damn. Drink fresh or cellar.
Wow, man.
Sure.
And
Yeah, Brazilian amborana wood. And the other one here, I gotta find the right time in people post COVID-19 to drink these with. This one is 9.5%, same size bottle, golden ale brewed with white sage, caraway, and juniper berries. It is a special golden holiday spiced ale called Stone Jolly Pumpkin.
Huh.
Damn.
Stone.
I'm so
All my
surprised
beers
that
are
my buddy,
94 out of 100,
he
by the way.
found like a 24-pack
Sorry.
box for the Heavy Seas beers from Baltimore, Maryland at his distribution center, and he was able to put these in there, and he just sent them to me, and he's and tongue in cheek on the bottle he writes, "How about that Brady?" I'm like, what the fuck?
Well,
Nice.
So yeah,
I would
10 point, yeah, cool stuff.
save them
Go
for
ahead, James. Yes.
a very special occasion.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not. So like today, like if we're just going online like we are, I'm not just going to open up a almost 54 ounce
No.
beer.
No,
But I thought that I didn't even realize that, via photos online until it actually came to me. Like, that's the size of look at my face. That's the size of the beer. Damn. But James, Michael reminded me of what I drink. My buddy came over the other day. We're trying to not get together so often, but he did. He came over and he gave me the Hazy Little Thing IPA from Sierra Nevada. They're over there with Michael, and it's
Best hazy beer ever.
6.7. I ain't gonna go into giant details. Not really. I put it into a uncleaned brown sour beer glass. Whatever.
Are you
What kind of color? That orangey white yellow thing. Yeah, sure.
Daisy little thing. What would you say, Michael?
Oh no, I was teasing Eric, saying,
About the
are
hazy
you
little thing?
disregarding my California beer?
That's a California beer from.
How you feeling? All right.
I'm slowly getting there. I'm just about awake.
All right. As long as
2/10/20.
you're
2/10/2020. So not new beer. Nope.
The hazy.
Four
Those
finger
will last
head. No,
around 2 months. Those will
I mean, it
last
smells
around
like
2
what
months.
you would think it smells like. For that style. On the lighter side, cheers. And
Cheers.
there's
That's
a
great
little. There's like a little bit of like a chalkiness towards the end of the sip, and a little bit of a spicy, earthy, grassy hop. It reminds me of the whole cone hopping that Sierra Nevada does, that they're very well known for. It's got that same kind of a malt base too. Definitely grapefruit is that wow. Grapefruit and orange. Yeah. Again, a little bit chalky when it finishes. Medium body, crisp, clean. Ultra refreshing. Doesn't it sound like I've drank beer today? Holy crap. Ooh. Cheers.
All
Cheers.
right. So that
Great beer.
Wake up.
you knew you weren't going to say too much about that particular Sierra Nevada.
Yeah, it does. It's just compared to New England. It's a really good national representation of what we do. It's just not that big and massive of a bodied beer like we or it's not that big and massive in the flavor department like we do with some beers. This doesn't even compare to that. No.
Point.
Oh, no.
It's definitely better than Budweiser, 100%.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, I know on Mr. Terrio's programs, he gets a lot of those people that go on and on about their Miller and such.
Yeah.
You know, they just go on and on about it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to our good buddy. Hope you're watching, Jay. I don't know what happened to our good buddy
Obviously,
Jay Terrio in the last year or so.
Oh.
But like the fun we used to have, it gets nipped in the bud immediately. Like, why? We're just having fun. No one's making fun of anybody, and no one's necessarily trying to discredit Jay Terrio's channel of YouTube. We're just having fun. And if that's how it happens.
No,
sorry, but no, I'm not sorry.
Listen, I had a talk with him, and I said that my sake that was milky, it spilled a little bit spilled. I says, I wonder if Ron Jeremy can shoot that far. That's all I said. But he went and he made a big thing about it. I mean,
he interpreted further about that.
Yeah, I didn't go on and talk about the porn industry, or I didn't get perverted. No. That's all I said. You know, the sake spilled. It was milky. Excuse me. So I cracked a little joke. I mean,
that's what I understand. I mean, you go on 3, maybe. Let me think here. You go on at least 2 other Google Hangouts. So Google Hangouts is still kind of a thing in the sense that
it's private, though.
We use it for having everybody together in one central location. Now, that's primarily because are we all on Facebook 100%? No. So Google Hangouts, everyone's still on that. Anyways, and even some new and upcoming
they don't
reviewers, a couple of which you probably would like chatting with. James. So there's the what you might call it, the International Beer Review Guild. Tyler called it that. That's like the kind of everybody's there with Jay, but it's not like the crazy one. And then there's Wankers United, and there's the Late Night Booze Bags that people are on.
United.
And everybody loves beer and talking about beer, but it's not none of it's taken very seriously. We're just having a good time chatting about
Like that show, that Throwdown Friday. That they were all drunk that night. They were really drunk.
probably.
Throwdown Friday. You know what the problem with having too many people on the show is that everybody talks at once and nobody really gets to hear any one person, which is bad because I like to do it like a presidential debate where you get nobody interrupts Eric for 10 minutes, let's say, or 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes. So you get to say anything your heart desires. Nobody.
Yeah. So our buddy, and I never noticed it until it was brought to my attention. I don't know if you've seen some of his channel, Michael Hilton, our buddy with the big white beard, Beer Man. He's in the Oregon state of the United States, and that's what he tries. That's what he tries to keep in check, which is his own. Watch his videos. It's literally called Beer Man. That's his channel on YouTube. If you watch any of his videos that have a stream on it with multiple panels, you can click on the description and read down in the description. He's got rules that everybody has to abide by, where you got to be silent. Everybody's got to listen one at a time. When he brings somebody up on StreamYard, we're listening to that guy, and that's it. But I've never actually noticed that was a thing until somebody brought it up to me. Till I think it was Tyler brought it up to me, and then I read his channel description. I'm like, damn. But everybody just does it by default with that guy. It's just so easy to want to hear what people say when it's the right people, and that they have something beer related that's cool to hear, I guess.
Well, if somebody's giving a beer review, or let's say it's Whiskey Scout reviewing a bourbon, I really want to hear what the man has to say.
Yeah.
I mean, because he knows his shit. He knows what he's talking about. I want to hear him. Just like
on StreamYard, you can police that. If you want to mute anybody when you start a stream, just do it. And just be polite about it and say, I muted you because we're still listening to Beer Man.
It's like if Damien the Wolf Owens wants to review a special malt liquor, I want to hear every word he says. I don't want to hear people interrupting him. I mean, it's only fair, I mean,
you're like Beer Man for that, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. You want a professional show. You don't want a free for all.
Yeah, you remember. This has got some beer involved in it, but I severely mean that. You remember you and I when we were getting into a little bit of it, but I've come around with different parts of the community where, you know what? Yeah, it is cool to be really beer centric, and that's why we know everybody. But the right people in the right settings, it's really cool to have whatever conversation you want about whatever. But we obviously know that we all came about in said community, chatting with people and getting to know people through the beer community. And for me, at least, that literally started with Jay Terrio. So as far as him being as conservative as he wants to be, that's okay. He's got to do his own thing on his own show,
Yeah.
but everybody else
Well, he
has
does.
been really like a breath of fresh air in that community for
Well,
me.
he does politicize every now and then throughout his show, which
Mhm.
and then he tells you it's his show. He's the host. So, all right, more power to
Well,
you.
he can tell you that, I respect everybody's opinion, but then it gets very opinionated.
Yeah. Now, do you notice when I do a show, I always sink my teeth piranha teeth into the theme of the show first. Like, in other words, Sunday night, myself and Damian Owens, we do politics, progressive.
Okay.
Well, we're socialists. I'm not gonna hide it. If people don't like it, they don't like it. But we do
Right.
the political part first. We get it over with. Then he does a monologue about, let's say he has a certain topic he wants to talk about. Like not too long ago, he did a whole series about the Confederacy, part 1 through 6. Through 6. He got that done. Boom. After that comes the State of the Nation tarot card reading. I don't say a word. I say everybody.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear
my
nothing.
thing, but yeah.
When he does the reading, all right, boom, he gets that done. Now, once he does that, I might ask a few questions for the divining rods. Once that's over, then if you want to goof around or you want to do a beer review,
Does Michael Hilton like beer? Yes, he does.
you want to talk about music,
No.
Oxblood, or whatever, hard, heavy metal. Or
Are we an awesome band? Yes, we are.
Oh yeah, how
that would be sweet.
And this terrible.
Yeah. So the only thing I can say is
Eric is gonna get.
we might have mentioned this on
yes,
another stream we are on with Blake TV. The pandemic has, the pandemic has stalled our efforts in getting into the studio and finishing this thing. We were in January into February. The second week of February, maybe the last time we were in the studio. We were getting progress made on that damn thing, and we still have way more to go. I still have another drum track to re-record it and do, but the thing has stalemated at this point in time. And not only, I don't know what it is, not only does our recording engineer's wife have a little bit of some medical issues that aren't related to COVID-19, his father actually died from complications due to COVID-19.
Oh shit.
So fucking A.
Fuck.
So yeah, we got some first-hand experience with in the band, if you will, quote unquote, with COVID-19. I'm not worried about our engineer contracting COVID-19. I'm not worried about that at all. He wasn't that up and close with his father at that particular time period. But that's the closest person that I know of personally. No. It is with personal, being that close to somebody. That's the closest person I know physically that's had it. I know two people, and one that actually had it and fucking beat the shit out of it, and he still shreds like a madman on guitar. And I'm like, fucking A, dude, get it fucking done. If you can tell COVID-19 to go fuck your ass and then go shred on your guitar, you fucking win.
Some people,
but our buddy, our engineer, has not been that close to his father when he contracted that disease. Yeah. So I feel bad for him, but I feel good for our people in my band where whenever we come back to wanting to record the album, I don't feel any problem with interacting with our recording engineer. I don't.
Well, it all depends.
He's a good friend of mine. That's how I've known him. He recorded all other songs that you guys have heard before this album. He's a great friend, and I respect the man, and I give him all the props for putting up with the shit he's putting up with right now.
You know,
It's hard, but
want to
you
hear
gotta
something?
choose.
You want to hear something that's absolutely true? I'm not
Sure,
lying, even though
sure. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah,
you might laugh at me. You know
yeah,
how
it won't bother me. What you say?
you know how you could tell if you have a strong immune system? You know, in the summertime when the female mosquito bites you and right away some people get the red bump and it itches like hell. Well,
Mm-hmm.
if you're sensitive to mosquito bites, that means
I am.
you have a very strong immune system.
I'm very sensitive to that shit.
I read that. I read that
Really?
in the medical journal
Ooh.
that is a surefire, easy way to tell.
Wow.
And if you want to tell if you're a natural born carnivore or if you're a vegan type, you take niacin on an empty stomach. It's a bee bite.
Yeah.
You take niacin.
Oh shit.
If you get the big flush and your face turns red and you
That's
get
cool.
if you look like a freaking cayenne pepper, that means that you have a lot of hydrochloric acid naturally,
Huh.
and you're a carnivore. That means that
That's cool, James.
that means you should
Very good pepper.
that means you should eat mostly animal protein. That means you should go ketogenic. But
Mm-hmm.
I find the mosquito.
Yeah, if you're eating all that Tyson food.
What?
If you're eating all that Tyson food, I guess you're gonna get. If you eat nothing but Tyson, I mean, Tyson's okay. But if you don't focus on enough health food products, you would think that you're going to be protected from the very things that could pass on malaria.
Well, you got to have fiber. You got to have fiber in your diet because if you don't have fiber, then the waste matter in your colon doesn't get evacuated in a timely fashion. Okay, and then your probiotic level goes down. Your good bacteria. Believe it or not, we have billions of good bacteria. Now,
anyway, where do you get your fiber from, James? Where do you get your fiber?
Well, I get frozen vegetables because they're vine ripened. That's the only reason, and I stir fry them. I eat organic whole grain cereals of various kinds. I eat amaranth, polenta, organic grits rather, steel cut oatmeal, winter. They call it red winter wheat.
Yeah, how is cereal? Because eggs take a while.
Well, I try to eat organic whole grain cereals is what I eat. Okay, now Eric has something to eat in his hands.
Huh. Oh my God!
Beef jerky.
No, these are some kind of chili pepper.
Damn, what kind?
So we have no clue because, and I'm trying to remember a year ago, these have gone into a jar and we have been,
holy shit,
what do you call them, drying them. So they were called like a Tabasco pepper, but
holy fuck. If
you taste these and some of that little portion of a seed, holy shit.
That's what
I'm gonna eat one for you people.
Yes.
It just does not taste like Tabasco. And by that I mean it will cut your dick off. It's that pardon my French. It's fucking hot.
It's like a serrano. It's like a serrano pepper.
No,
yeah, I'm trying to find that. I'm not gonna find the right one. Maybe that was
cayenne. That looks
yeah.
Like, it looks like a cayenne.
And when you take a that's ooh.
It's green.
There's a pepper there. So I don't know what we think this is. We think it could be not a serrano. It's like these little tiny, I forget what it is.
Oh, those are green.
In the pepper world, but we think that these you can kind of hear it. They have that definitely seed pepper sound and feel to them. Put your glasses on, people. I forget what we thought that these were, but they're probably maybe somewhere between 30 and 50,000 Scoville units.
Yeah.
If you people know what a Scoville unit is, water basically has a Scoville unit of 1 or of no. So 50,000, you need 50,000 parts per water to get rid of the heat of one of these damn peppers. I think somebody tell me wrong about that.
And pure
The water. Go ahead, James. Yeah. Go ahead.
Pure capsaicin is probably the highest.
Yeah. So this is probably close to 50,000. It's a little tough. I've done it. I did it the other day, and I put it in some lunch the other day. When it's dried out and a little bit leathery, it's a little hard to eat, but you can still eat it, but it's just a little bit tough to skin. Water's the worst thing you can have with a pepper. You want more like the lactose, the dairy thing. Maybe
I don't know about
I'll have to grab another hazy little thing, but you want to see what happens if I eat the pepper. There's not even a stem on this one.
They said beer is not good for it either.
Go ahead.
All right, 3, 2, 1. This one's for you, James. Fuck you. This is gonna hurt. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Ooh.
Your face is getting red.
Hey, the Carolina Reaper, buddy.
No, don't. You don't want to kill him. I guarantee. You look like you could do a horror movie.
Shit.
You look like you turn your Lon Chaney turning into the Wolf Man. Look at him.
I'm close to midnight. Ugh.
You look like
He looks like he's ready to do a horror movie.
Oh.
It was Howl at the Moon.
Ooh.
You got any like crackers or bread you could?
Woo. Oh, damn.
Girls, da, 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 da.
Dancing down in Mansfield, Mass. Girls. Oh.
How does it feel?
You didn't
That feels bad.
Man.
Feels like you need an ice cream.
Good.
Komodo dragon with that tongue hanging up.
Corona dragon.
Whew.
Oh, Komodo.
You want one?
No, I'll pass.
Oh, Corona dragon, just like going around. No, yeah, that wouldn't be funny.
Woo! Oh boy! Wow!
Is there anything you can do to remedy this?
You look like.
Oh boy!
You look like the American flag.
Oh boy! What do I drink now? Oh boy!
You got any fruit juice?
Maybe.
You look like you're not white anymore. Sorry.
You look like a Washington Redskin.
Well, I'm awake now. Yep, I'm awake. So today was definitely a great day.
You gonna drink Coors? You're all right. You might as well, I guess.
That did not work at all, James. Holy. Oh boy.
So what did you do today, there, Dr. Owens?
All right. So today we slept in, got up at about 3. Then we went out to Olive Garden, got some delicious chicken Alfredo with a great wine. I had a Pinot Grigio and The waitress that we had, she was awesome. She actually took the time to actually talk with us because this was the first time she had been to work in like 2 months. So we helped her out best that we could. We gave her a nice tip. I think collectively, me and the wife gave her like a $26 tip because she could not get unemployment and she burned through the $1,200 stimulus check she got because she got behind on bills. And then whenever she got that, all the money went to that. And then now she's back in the hole again. So we helped her out best that we could. So the Pinot Grigio was not bad. I didn't think it was all that great, but it wasn't, terrible. I gave it like a 82 out of 100, which is lower end of a B. And then my wife had some kind of Moscato. I don't know which kind she got. And then we came home and we said we're just going to sleep for an hour. Did that work out? Nope. We fell asleep, then set an alarm, and we woke up. We're like, shit. We slept past midnight. So that's what happened today. Everything started reopening, and the restaurants are back open at 50% capacity. And I mean, it looks like everything's going according to plan, and people are just all in a tizzy over it. But I mean, we can't afford to stay closed anymore. We got to get back to work. We just can't do it no more.
Yeah, but look at that poor girl. I mean, $1,200 is chicken feed nowadays with the high cost of living of today. I mean, it's actually like your uncle giving you $2. Hey, kid, don't spend it all in one place. Here,
Yeah, back in the day that could be possible, but now $2 might get you maybe a Hershey's candy bar, if that.
If that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Here in my area, my favorite candy bar that I like to get is a Hershey's cookies and cream. At my workplace, I think they're like $1.15 after tax, which is not a bad price, all things considered.
You like
But
Snickers?
yeah, Snickers. Oh yeah, I love Snickers. Yeah, I'm not too picky when it comes to candy. The only candy I don't really like is I don't like Twizzlers. There's just something about Twizzlers I just do not like. But all others, I'm not picky.
I can't eat Twizzlers. It's too sweet. I gotta have nuts, maybe some caramel, nougat, but especially nuts. I like candy bars with nuts in it. I've been saying this for the longest time, but I'm not going to get into it too heavy because it's not the theme of the show. But
Right.
I don't think there's anything wrong taking states that are the least densely populated and reopening them. States that don't have massive population like your Chicago's, your New York Cities, here in New Jersey, California cities, other states can reopen. Wyoming, Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana. Oh well. Good night, Eric.
All right, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, but
a lot of
this part of Tennessee is actually populated. Like here in my county, Sullivan County, we've got over 157,000 people in just this one county alone. In Kingsport, we got over 54,000 people, and then what makes Sullivan County so populated is we got the city of Bristol, then we've got the city of Kingsport, which that right there is about 100,000 people, and then we've got the various towns and unincorporated small towns. So yeah, 157,000 in our county alone, and then in the neighboring counties, Washington County, they've got Johnson City, which is the biggest city out of all three of the Tri-Cities. They've got 63,000 people, and then I think they've got maybe 80 to 90,000 in that county. Then there's Johnson County, Carter County, Unicoi County, and then Hawkins County. Combined all together here in just this little area alone, we've got 250,000 people. So, and just the county right over from Hawkins County, Hancock County. It's weird. Guess how many cases they've got? They've got 0 cases. Then another small county up in Virginia called
What?
Dickinson County, they've got 0 cases as well.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, Dickinson County. That's
Yeah,
a
Dickinson
Republican
County,
county.
Virginia.
what's that?
I think that's a Republican county, right? Dickinson County. I know about that county.
Democrat. It's kind of more moderate. It used to be heavy Republican, but now Southwest Virginia, where I'm from, it's become a bit more moderate. But people in Southwest Virginia they're not like the state of Virginia. We'll just put it that way. Like Virginia, it might as well just be split up into several different states, like Southwest Virginia be its own state, then like Central Virginia be its own state, and then Northern Virginia be its own state, and then Eastern Virginia be its own state, because it's literally that different. The
Let
accents
me
are
argue
different, the
with that
dialects are
slightly there.
different, the culture's different, everything.
Let me argue with that slightly there in that tone, Daniel, because what happens if you stop agreeing with the majority and you can try to have an election, but gerrymandering is so intense now that if you
Hmm.
break up, you are left with the people forever. So you can vote them out. You can't necessarily vote the party out. You know what I'm saying? So I hear
Right.
what you're saying on autonomy, but I'm worried about ending up getting stuck with the same kinds of ideological people for posterity. That's what bugs me about it.
Well, honestly, Northern Virginia's got the state. Well, they've got the population. So basically, if whatever they say goes for the whole entire state. And honestly, it's terrible. Yeah, Northern Virginia, yeah, it might be nice to see all the nice houses and things like that, but up there, people are snooty, they are snobby, and they
Fuck
are
that.
they're basically like Karen Juniors and boomers.
That's because it's a suburb of Washington D.C. pretty much.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
mean, I've been to DC
suburbs
a
are
few times,
Stockton.
and
You
I've
know,
been to DC a few times. As long as you stay in the capital part where there's the nice part of the city, you're fine. But when you go into the downtown metropolitan area, you better roll up your windows, lock your doors, keep your head straight, and just go. Don't look.
no eye contact. No. Now,
Yeah.
you know what? The governor, Phil Murphy of New Jersey, what he's doing this weekend? He's
What?
experimenting. He's opening up all the county and state parks, but the people are going to be watched like a hawk.
I
If
mean,
as
that
soon
looks like a bad idea.
as there's no social distancing and there's no masks, he's going to close the parks again.
So he's making people wear masks out in public. Now that's going a bit too far. But I mean, just opening up the park, seeing what happens. By all means. I mean, here the
Who wears a
parks
mask
are
in the park?
reopening. I think the parks are going to be reopening. They may have opened today. If not, they're definitely going to be reopening by the 9th, because everything is supposed to be completely reopened by the 9th here. Um, but I mean, that's a good idea, because I mean,
Here.
today while we were out, even with the restaurant at 50% capacity, man, as I said in Alpha Males, I mean, it was so clean, it was so sanitary. Like, you could see reflection off the table. There was not a speck of dust anywhere on the walls, on the ceilings. Everything was so clean. If this is the new norm, that they're making sure everything's so clean and sanitary, now that I can live with.
But the
That would be a better preventative measure.
but the tables were adequately spaced apart in this restaurant.
Yeah, yes, but it was kind of weird, because the way the tables were spaced out, I don't think they even had it really to 50% capacity, because the dining area in Olive Garden, every other table or every other 3 tables would be completely adequate for social distancing. Like the way they had it, they had 3 dining sections, but we chose the farthest one back in the restaurant, because I like just sitting away from the door, because I hate hearing the door, people coming in and out. It just gets on my nerves when I'm trying to eat. So we sat back there, and there was maybe 3 other people and a table like all the way on the other side of the room, which was way beyond like 6 feet. They were probably 18 to 20 feet apart from us. But The traffic was definitely up. People are starting to get back out. The line at the bank today, good lord, the line was all the way out the door for people going in, and the line was all the way backed up to the road, trying to get money out of the ATM and doing this and doing that. So seeing how everything's reopening, and then the people that were in there, laughing and enjoying each other's company, having a great time, a sense of normalcy is starting to return here, and that's for the better.
Well, that's not bad that the tables were like that. Now, in concerning the mayor of Las Vegas, who's bucking heads with the governor, she wants to open up lock, stock, and barrel, including the new stadium for the Raiders football team. You can't do that. You got to remove some of the slot machines and make sure, and the gaming tables. At the blackjack table, you can't have all the stools or all the chairs there. You can't do that. You got to space these gamblers apart, and in the tables. And she just wants to lock, stock, and barrel open up this Las Vegas.
What is she doing? Trying to ride Trump's coattails? She's an independent, man.
Well, what is it? Yeah, but what about the tourists that are still on lockdown? That the only flights Americans could get to Vegas, if that's the case, would be from states that are totally opened up.
To be honest, I'd rather just drive out to Vegas. All the bullshit you got to deal with to fly, you're better off just driving across America and just going to Vegas. Because, I've never really been out west, so doing a little sightseeing, stopping a few places, taking a few pictures like what they used to do back in the day, that wouldn't be all that bad, to be completely honest with you. Maybe
you'll see sights if you drive to like Colorado, Utah.
Oh yeah,
you'll see, or New Mexico. It's a beautiful. It really is I think the desert is gorgeous. I've been to the Sonoran Desert. It's beautiful. It's peaceful. It's quiet. It's a dry heat. Yeah, make sure you have plenty of water though, and your tires are in outstanding condition.
Yeah, I will say this because here in Tennessee, they've mandated it to where restaurants and retail, non-essential retail, can open up at 50% capacity, but they have to wear masks. The customers don't, but the employees do, which at my workplace, as I told you last night in Alpha Males, they made us start wearing masks starting yesterday while I'm off the next couple days.
It's not a problem.
And yes, we've been this far along with no masks, and there's been no issues. And now all of a sudden they're giving them to us, and I gotta say, if this is what they're going to do, this is not going to work because the masks they gave us, they don't fit your face right. They're uncomfortable as shit. You can't breathe through them. And I wore mine maybe 2 hours. The string broke off of it.
Oh fuck!
So I was like, "Oh, for God's sake!"
It's a good thing. Thank God, my sister, she gave me 3 heavy-duty washable black.
Well, apparently they're going to issue us cloth masks that we can reuse and rewash and disinfect. But in all honesty, if we've gone this far, and it's not really been locked down here, no one's social distance, no one's really done this or that, and there's not been an outbreak. Really, now we're just wasting time and resources. Those masks are better off allocated to people who really need them. And honestly, we're not one of them.
All right.
What happened to your mask, though, Gary? What'd you do with the mask?
I threw it away because it was like one of those cloth masks. I told the manager, I was like, this isn't going to work because I wore this for 2 hours and it's already broke. It doesn't fit your face right. It's uncomfortable and you can't breathe through
it. 21st century issues.
It's washable.
Take a look at James.
It's durable. It's not, you could tell it's thick. You can breathe. And then you could take it off. And they always tell you best sanitizer is an old-fashioned bar of soap. Well, you stick the bar of soap in the mask and then hang it up.
And plus, I haven't worn a mask this entire time, and if I've not gotten sick now, I'm not going to get sick, period, because I've had plenty of opportunities to be exposed and to catch this, and guess what? I've not gotten sick.
Yeah.
Well,
There
you gotta have a
you have a
healthy
similar one. Yeah, but don't forget, I live in this freaking cesspool. You know what I mean? And you're you're in the Appalachian practically. So
yeah.
So it's more pristine where you live.
Right, I mean, if y'all want to wear a mask, fine, but I'm just saying it's really not going to increase or decrease your chances of getting sick. Just saying.
Well, they say.
How do you tell though? By the way, if you see a hot girl and you're trying to smile at her.
Well, maybe she has the mask on. No, they say the World Health Organization. I mean, in the books, it still says that the function of the mask is for people that are already sick, that are trying not to infect others. It's not for healthy people that test negative.
Right.
Technically, what they're supposed to do is social distancing, hand sanitizing, and stay 1 meter apart. And the people that are healthy are really not obligated to wear the mask.
It's not an order, it's a recommendation. CDC recommended it. They didn't order it. Some people went around correct. They ordered it.
Yeah.
And some people fucking walking up to people doing this thing. Like, oh, what does that mean? I'm supposed to wear a mask. First of all, fuck you. Secondly, the CDC, it was a recommendation. It was not an order. So don't go ordering me around about wearing a mask.
Well, I mean, here's what I've done. All right. Well, I know it's allergy season. It's flu season. Okay. Well, allergy season and flu season is about ready to peak here in Tennessee because now the trees have fully bloomed. The grass is now blooming. All the flowers and everything that's going to bloom is going to bloom. So now allergies and flu, it's peaked. All right. Well, I knew beforehand that before this virus outbroke that, I should go ahead and prepare for the flu season, as I always do every year. And here's all I do. I take a shower every day. I brush my teeth every day. I gargle with high alcohol mouthwash. I bulk up on all vitamins and all supplements, particularly vitamin C. I make sure that I eat a very well balanced diet. And also, here's another thing I do. I know some people think it's weird, but I mean, it's worked. I have 2 sets of clothes I wear out every day. I have a set of clothes that I wear out in public, and then I have a set of clothes that I wear around the house. So whenever I get home, all I do is I take off my clothes that I wore out in public, and then I put my house clothes on. Okay, that's another way you can stop the spread of anything, and that's another way you can prevent yourself from catching anything. And then every opportunity I get, I wash and sanitize my hands. Oh, and by the way, hand sanitizer and hand soap is now back on the shelves, although in still limited amounts, but still now you can actually buy it again here in Tennessee. Right. So it's nothing out of the ordinary for me to wash my hands as well as sanitize them like 15 to 20 times a day. Now, if I'm at work, it's probably going to be about 35 to 40 times a day. So if I'm doing that every chance I get and I'm not sick, those are the best preventative measures you could take from not getting sick with anything.
Well, if you get whacked, I hear Claritin D is very good. And Claritin D it does everything. So, but if you're taking mega vitamin C and you're doing what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I do get sick. I'm not going to say that, being a germaphobe means you're not going to get sick 100%, but I get sick maybe once a year, if that. And if I do get sick, it's so mild and it's so toned down. I'm literally maybe down for a day or so, 3 days tops, and guess what? I'm right back to normal. So it does pay to be healthy. It does pay to be a germaphobe. In fact, just taking those precautionary measures, regardless, your chances of getting sick with anything is very, very, very minute. That's like to the point to where you've taken all the preventive measures you can, then it's just you don't really sweat over it. It's just things that you just they become ingrained. You just do them second nature, and you're going to be just fine. Now, I actually did find out what they put in the sanitary stations that is now mandated for the cleaning and sanitation of everything. And when I told you that I was at Walmart one day and just a little residual droplet of that came off and got on my skin and it burned the shit out of me, I asked them, what is in that? And I will tell you, if there is any disease, germ, virus, anything, this fucking shit will kill it. It's got 99.99% alcohol Germex. Then it's got hydrogen peroxide, 91% isopropyl alcohol, along with very strong, potent bleach. So trust me, if there's anything, that shit will kill it.
That was the bleach that burned your skin.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, if they douse everything in that, the social distancing, the masks, the gloves, anything, you are not gonna get sick. Trust me. I guarantee you, if they douse that shit all in the atmosphere and like douse New York City, San Diego, LA, San Francisco, any big city in America you could think of, it would probably make the city so clean and sanitary and the air so fresh and clean where you can actually breathe it. It would not be funny. You'd probably be like, oh, I could step out and enjoy life for once.
I mean, that's excellent for disinfecting counters and, in the commercial industry, in the restaurant industry, even at home. I mean, to have that.
So, yeah, I mean, if this is the new norm being so clean and sanitary, that I can live with. But so the way that it's structured is there's, I believe, 3 or 4 phases in terms of completely reopening Tennessee to back to normal. Well, now that the stay-at-home order has expired and everything's reopened, now we're in phase 1. So phase 2 is probably going to happen here within the next couple weeks, and what they're going to do is everything's going to be completely reopened. The social distancing is going to be recommended, although not strictly or stringently enforced. And then they're going to start allowing businesses to completely reopen at, I believe, 75% capacity. And also, regular bars are going to reopen.
That sounds like a huge mistake. Not enforcing social distancing.
Well, it's going to be recommended, but not really strictly enforced. I mean, hell, it's not even really been strictly enforced in the first place here, and nothing's really happened.
So people are actually like walking a couple inches from another human being, and
like they're not like packed together like sardines, but you can definitely tell the difference between one and another is not 6 feet. Like there may be enough to give people personal space and not be in their bubble, if that makes any sense.
Okay. All right, Michael. You cracked open a Sierra Nevada, right?
It's the original labeling, though. The original 1980 labeling.
A pale ale. Okay, the original label. 19.
It's tough to tell whether it's a label or it's them saying it's the label, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of weird that way. But always like this pale ale. It's always very nicely presented with the double labels. Really like when a beer does that. Only difference, really, there's more yeast in the beer. There's more yeast, so it's more force conditioned. So when Speakeasy, Ales and Lagers told me that Sierra Nevada was actually a force conditioned pale ale, I was a little confused. But now I know what they mean. If you got the 1980, I think difference between this and the modern one, James and Gary, is this one does seem like it has the propellers on, if you know what I mean. I feel like maybe the new one still good, but has maybe lost some refinement compared to the old one. Have really totally the non-pasteurized and just big mouthfeel sense on this beer. I get the sense of how it could be one of the oldest, not physically, but kind of mentally, it could be one of the oldest batches of this beer. I feel like they even brewed this. They even brewed it, perhaps, to be the 1980 version. So it's kind of like a replica. It's kind of like a replica. I'm pretty sure if I had a pale ale now, I had this, and I compared the two, there's a sizable difference. I would say it's nice. I gave it a 99 out of 100. What's keeping it from being higher? I don't know why it's not as bitter as it could be. I don't know why pale ale is not as bitter. I don't know why it's so sweet a lot of the time. And that makes it dangerous in a way because it's almost 6% ABV. So I think the higher the alcohol, the more bittering hops you got to add. That's just the way it should happen. Otherwise, you're drinking a shit ton of fruit juice. So pale ales, really good stand-in if you are looking for alternatives to an IPA. That's what I will say.
All right.
So, back to you
Okay.
in the studio. Back to you in the studio.
Yay, back to me in the studio. So, yeah, that's the plan for what's going on. And it seems like everything's going according to plan. And what was it? There were some beaches in North Carolina that reopened, and some of the beaches down in Florida reopened. And I mean, everything seems to be going just fine. So,
Yeah, but North Carolina is an epicenter.
yeah, but you would think, them reopening the beaches, that it would be another pandemic. Well, guess what? There isn't. Everything's going according to plan, and everything's just fine.
Well, when did they reopen the beaches?
A couple weeks ago. So if there would have been a secondary outbreak, according to what they're saying, the incubation period is like 7 to 14 days. Well, they've now been open 3 weeks. Well, this would have been adequate time. And guess what? Everything is completely fine. There's no second outbreak.
Wow. So,
Okay. Well, that's scientific data right there.
So yeah, when they say, "Oh, we should continue this and continue that," and I'm just like, "Oh, for God's sake!" They've already shown reopenings going according to plan, and everything's just fine. So everyone just, as I like to tell to some people, just calm your tits.
Well,
Everything's gonna be just fine.
their tits are electrified. They're the pinball in the pinball machine because of the almost 60,000 deaths. That's why. But then again, I watched the video where the state of Florida head coroner refuses to show the true number of deaths and from what.
Yeah, which that should already be suspicious. I mean, hell, if they're already retracting numbers, then that should just go to show you that really you can't trust them on anything. If they're willing to lie about that, they're willing to lie about anything.
Well, you got the government started out lying about extraterrestrials, and then now you have the goody two shoes Democrats being totally corrupt liars, the DNC, and they want to take everyone off the ballot except senile Joe Biden and brainless Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that Justin Marsh is running against.
It's not constitutional. What?
I heard that Justin Marsh is running for president.
I have no idea who that even is.
Justin Marsh? You mean the Marsh Man prophecy?
What's that?
Marsh?
Yeah, look him up.
Oh yeah, I heard his name, but I don't know who the hell he is. I mean, if you qualify to be on the ballot, you can't just say my name is Daffy Duck. I want to be on the ballot. You got to qualify. If you qualify, you should be on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I like old Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, he may run on the Green Party ticket. So.
There you go. What happened to the Green Party? Why didn't Bernice? Yeah. And I have to call him Bernice.
Bernice.
Bernice is his new nickname. Bernice Anders. Actually, Sarah Palin was pronouncing his name that way years ago. Bernice Anders, old raisin balls himself, could have very easily contacted the Green Party. Hey, Green Party chairman, would you mind if I join you guys and be on the ballot?
And I could, oh yeah, just good old raisin balls. And I can do my impersonation of Bernie Sanders now. Well, James, I currently resent that statement. Yes, I might have raisin balls, but you know what? At least I can honestly say now I am rich, and I have now sold out to the Democrats as well as anyone else who says that I can be bought and paid for. Now, that 10-piece McNugget with honey mustard, you will still get that, but I done lost my fucking train of thought.
and Mr. Perez probably put a dog collar around him and one of those S&M gag balls in his mouth.
No, James, I am not into BDSM. That is not appropriate because that is very, very discriminatory towards men and women and the porno industry.
Now, I am sure the DNC and Bernie Sanders knows that Joe Biden has cognitive decline.
Mm-hmm. Are we coming up with a porn industry relief package anytime soon?
Oh, for God's sake!
Who's coming out with a porn industry relief package? Who? Me?
I hope it's not Joe Biden. For God's sake, I hope it's not Joe Biden.
No, he definitely has dementia. There's no doubt about it. And his wife, what does his wife say about all this? Her husband is going to be more than embarrassed. He's going to be sliced and diced like a friggin' Vegematic, like a Cuisinart.
Even she said he's not the best. She actually said that.
He does the best?
She actually said that he's not the best.
He does the best at what? Stuttering and stammering and chopping up sentences?
Word salad.
Word salad.
Actually, in fact, you know what? A word salad doesn't really sound like that bad of an idea, in all honesty, considering just how deprived Americans are of nutrition, particularly in terms of complex vocabulary. So maybe a word salad may be just the exact thing they need to have as a supplement in their diet.
Might be adamant
You know what lettuce is really very high in nutritional value? Romaine and raw spinach.
I don't like spinach. You can hold the spinach, but any lettuce, I like them.
You like romaine?
Yeah, I like the red romaine, or no, what is it? Red leaf romaine, or there's a few others, but yeah, when it comes to that, chopping them up in a salad, I'm all for it. But anything spinach-wise, I hate spinach.
What about hot peppers in salad? You ever have a hot pepper salad, guys?
I don't really put a lot of stuff in my salad. Here's what I like. Just various lettuces, maybe some red cabbage, some carrots, some red onions, and some ranch dressing with a crouton or two. That's what I put in my salad.
You like cherry tomatoes?
Nope. It's amazing. I like salsa. I like ketchup, but I don't like regular tomatoes. That's weird.
I like cherry tomatoes, and I like chunky blue cheese dressing.
Anything blue cheese I've tried, I just don't like. But speaking of cheeses, since I do work in the deli still, I've been trying some different cheeses. Now, I tried a cheese that was very unique. and I didn't think I was going to like it, but Gruyere cheese.
I like you know where the original.
Yeah.
You know what Gruyere cheese is supposed to go on? French onion soup.
I can see that. Some French onion soup. That actually sounds pretty good. Oh, and I've been training some new guys and letting them try all the different meats. And I let one of them try prosciutto the other night. The look on their face was priceless. They're like, it's stringy, it's salty. Ooh, I don't like it.
Oh, then they wouldn't like anchovies either.
Oh god, anchovies. The only thing fish-wise I like is pink salmon. That's really about it.
Anchovies will knock them.
I bought so much mahi mahi and sockeye salmon. Alaskan sockeye it was in Trader Joe's actually.
Yeah.
And sockeye salmon is that real red. It's like really red salmon.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got some grass-fed Angus ground beef, frozen.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know damn well in the meat department, sometimes they're sneaky. Sometimes they mix some older ground beef with some fresher one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Speaking of ground beef, tomorrow, since the weather's getting better and it's going to be chili cook-off season here in Tennessee, I'm going to make a big pot of chili.
Yeah, well, tomorrow's going to be 75, I hear here.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be excellent the next few days here in Tennessee. Now, the weather's been all over the place. But, I mean, today, it was sunny, not a cloud in the sky. And when you stepped outside, man, it was beautiful. Perfect jeans and t-shirt weather.
Yeah, I'm sure all the millennials are going to be out there fraternizing and doing what they shouldn't be doing. But
well, I mean, if they've been doing all this time and nothing's really happened, what really difference is it going to make now? Probably none. But anyway, so with things starting to reopening, a lot of retail stores and gun shops are running some excellent, excellent deals right now. Because the other day, I went to my favorite gun shop up here in Kingsport. It's just right outside the city limits. A little old mom and pop shop called Indian Springs Armory. I got a stellar deal on an AR-15.
How many AR-15s do you have?
Well, now I only have just this one. I had one before, but I sold it. But now I've got one AR, one AK, one shotgun, and one pistol. So I think I'm set.
You have a fraction of what you have a tiny fraction of what Nathan Bates owned.
I mean, guns. I mean, even if you don't really like to shoot them, anything, they are an excellent investment, especially like the older guns. Particularly guns of the Wild West or the Civil War or the Revolutionary War guns, and they are worth a lot of money.
My brother-in-law has a collection, but then again, he's an avid hunter.
Yeah. With this AR, I mean, now that I've got both, because if you own one, you basically end up getting the other. But for this one, they were running an excellent deal on. I've been meaning to buy one again for a while, just so I can honestly say I've got both. And with taxes and everything out the door, $523.46.
Could you take out a big whitetail buck deer with an AR-15?
Oh yeah, you better believe it, because this one, it is a 5.56 barrel, so it can shoot the 2.23 and the 5.56. So, yeah, you could drop a pretty good sized deer, but you have to have the right ammunition for it. If you're going to go hunting, anything hollow point is really what you need, because when you look at the bullet, it is shaped just like a bullet, but in the very end, it's got a small opening. Yeah. Because here's how it's designed. It's designed to stay intact, and when it penetrates just like a ballpoint round, but when it goes through something, it mushrooms out and expands.
Oh, like shrapnel.
Yeah, but also there's another reason why it's important. So a lot of people carry hollow points and defensive pistols that they do for concealed carry because it also doesn't over penetrate. So that way, if you hit your target, it will do the damage that's intended to the target without maybe exiting out the other side, going through a door, going through a wall, all that. So it does have some advantages. Now, the military and law enforcement cannot use them, but civilians can.
Now, could the military and law enforcement use as a sidearm a 45?
Yes. Now,
Okay.
a 45, there's two 45s as far as I know. There's 45 Colt, which goes in the revolvers. Then there's 45 ACP, which is what the classic 1911 shoots. I've shot a 45. They're not really for me because, yeah, they are definitely a powerhouse when it comes to shooting them. But it's just, for me, the recoil is a bit too much, and I'm not as great. Really, for me, for pistols, is really about a 9mm. That's where I really like to be at because still adequate firepower, it holds more rounds, and it's easier to shoot because my friend, who had never shot a gun before, I took him to the range, and we shot my 9mm and the AR-15 I had at that time. Within 5 minutes, he was shooting the 9mm and the AR-15 just like me. We were going shot for shot with each other.
Yeah, the Glock is nice. 9.9.
I had a Glock. Yeah, I had a Glock. But mine was not in 9mm. Mine was in 40 Smith & Wesson, which that's a unique hybrid round. Because there was that weird transitionary period in the early 90s when they went from the M16 to the M4, then from the 1911 to the, I believe it was the Beretta M9. Well, you had people that liked both. So what they decided to do was they said, okay, we got people that like the 45, and we got people who like the 9mm. So let's try to bridge the gap so that we can create a round that both will like. So they created 40 Smith & Wesson. So when you look at it, it's the same caliber as a 9mm, but it's just a heavier grain bullet like a 45, but it has a heavier charge behind it. So it relies on velocity like a 9mm, but it relies on stopping power like a 45. So that's why it's a hybrid round. Now, in a Glock, really anything beyond 9mm and one of those smaller frame Glocks, forget it. They are going to be so recoil snappy, and it's just going to be like you're shooting a hand cannon. But if you get the bigger frame ones, like the full size, they'll take just about anything. But me personally, I like 9mm.
Okay, yeah, because you have more control over it. Accuracy,
Yeah.
maybe even more of an accurate.
Yeah. Now the 40 Smith & Wesson, it's a great round. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's not too much more recoil as compared to the 9, but it's a bit more snappy, if that makes any sense. Because where it's a heavier grain bullet and it's got a heavier charge behind it, it tends to be very snappy. So, like, if you're shooting, a 9mm would kind of be like this. A 40 would be like this. It's very snappy when it recoils.
Okay, and then the 45 would have a tad bit more recoil.
Right. Well, the 45 more or less relies just on the sheer weight of the bullet. So it's not going to have as a heavy of charge behind it. But in terms of the actual grain bullet, it's going to be slower. But when it hits, it's going to hit with more authority just because there's more mass there.
Oh, I understand now.
Right. So different calibers are charged different ways, but for the minimum for self-defense is 380 or 38. That's the minimum. You go from there upwards. You don't go down. Like, yeah, you could use a 22 or a 25 or something like that if need be, but in reality, 380 or a 38 really is where you need to start and then go up from there. I mean, the 380 is no slouch, but I mean, to me, 9mm really is like the best ideal one.
Okay.
I've shot 38s. In some revolvers, they're excellent, but in some, they're just not. Like if it's a small snub nose, good luck trying to hit the broadside of a barn. But if you're in like the fuller size revolvers where it's like a Smith and Wesson J frame or something like that, where it's bigger, where it can absorb more of the recoil, yeah, 38 and that is you could shoot that all day, no problem.
All right, gentlemen, we're gonna wrap this up completely. All right, and I want to watch a little Ghost Adventures or Dead Files or something.
Yep, and I'm gonna go back and play some video games. I got a game that I've been playing now, Red Dead Redemption 2. It's a Western game, and man, I'm surprised I didn't pick up this game earlier. This game is fun.
I've seen that advertised.
Oh, it's fun.
I've seen that advertised. It's like a Wild West gunslinger kind of a game.
Yeah, my favorite thing I like to do is do the bounty hunts because you can make some big money on it.
Oh wow, cool. All right, guys, I'll see you on and like I usually see you over there, you know, on the phone.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and I got